nation is the greatest power. Destruction is blowing over this land. And now the earth is trembling with man's oppression of man. Now the time comes to sit down and rediscover what's life. Show the world the true meaning of real love, power, not strife. Right now, all of them who does worship, greed and vanity must bow. Unity is the banner, so come together, I say. And this love is for freedom, it's growing stronger each day. Come on, lift your voice with a feeling of satisfaction as one. And then we move with a purpose, all freedom lovers. Hold tight, stepping out of the darkness with one direction inside.
The Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Bang, 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 bang.
I say, it's the greatest power. Stop hell and damnation. Bring down the power. Love to heal a nation is the greatest power. Destruction is blowing over this land.
Yeah, good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Well, our boy Lennox Smith will be joining us in a little bit. I'm not 100, but you know the show had to go on. Mr. Pleasant, good morning to Basdio. That's Big Harry. Hey, Carmen, good morning, 007. Kevin George, good morning to you. Margaret, good morning. Marlene, good morning to you. Biggs. Nadira, good morning to you. The Ginger Mirage, good morning. Angela, good morning. Oh, Samantha, good morning. Julian John, good morning. Julian John, good morning. Matilda. The Hulk, good morning to you. The Ginger Mirage, good morning. The Brady Bunch, good morning to you. The Brady Bunch. Suka, good morning to you. Ganesh Mohan, good morning. Oh boy. Hey, Poacher, John Charles, good morning to you. Balroop, good morning. Annette Drakes, good morning to you. Rolly, good morning, Rolly. Hey, Shanti, good morning to you, Shanti. Ali, Desmond Hines, good morning. Don't tell Carmen morning, Nita. Ramlal, good morning to you. Oh boy.
And this love is for freedom, it's growing stronger.
Hey, Atiba, good morning. Honey, Freezer, Freena, Mohammed, a pleasant good morning. Sudesh, Sukdeo, good morning. Bernadette KR, good morning.
Love to heal a nation.
Odison, good morning. Janet Singh. Paladin, good morning. Sarojani saying good morning.
Voice in a rhythm of selling.
Hey, Jacqueline Sami, good morning. Sunita, good morning. Peter, Samlal saying good morning to you. Just School, good morning. Kenrick Prasad, good morning. Lakshman James.
As one
Dave Harrigan, good morning. That is Dave and Deborah. Hey, happy new year to you all, man. Hope all is well. Again, thanks so much for making this aspect of the program possible. That's Dave and Deborah that lock out in New York there. Good morning to you all. Big Ram, good morning.
bring down the bomb, love, I say. The bomb, love, I say, is the greatest power to hell and damnation. Bring down the bomb. Love to heal a nation is the greatest bomb.
Hey, Sharon, good morning. Gloria. Roma Price, good morning.
Bring down the bomb, love.
Michael Khan, a pleasant good morning to you. Ryan Nick Cherry, good morning.
The bomb, love, I say.
Hey, Ramchan, good morning. Prima, good morning. Rosali, good morning.
Stop hell and damnation. Bring down the bomb.
Hey, Andrew Alfonso, a pleasant good morning. Bix Bix. Oh boy.
Bring down the bomb, love, I say.
Alicia, oh boy, good morning to you. Raul Prasad, good morning. Mina from Princestown, good morning. Hey, Narish, good morning to you. Hey, Ram Prasad, good morning. Mario Fernandez, good morning. Wayne Felix, good morning. Abraham. Anne Marie Boland, good morning. Ricky, good morning. Lucky Lal. John, Miss Prasad, good morning.
A wind of destruction is blowing over this land.
Hey, Harry Prasad Daniel, good morning to you.
Now the earth is a trembling with man's oppression of man.
Himadi, good morning. Brian, Crystal,
Now the time
Crystal Fernandez, good morning. Hey, Dennis C. Paul, a pleasant good morning to you. And Journey, your daughter, your beautiful daughter, a pleasant good morning to you, Dennis C. Paul.
of freedom, power, not strife. Bring down the bomb, love, I say.
Michael Scotland, good morning. Anthony McFord, good morning. Jerome.
I say it's the greatest power, stop hell and damnation. Bring down the bomb. Love to heal and mend.
Bisnat Prasad, a pleasant good morning to you. Ranjati, Milton Altorio in the house. Good morning.
Put
Survivor, good morning. Esther.
and cleanse the wicked right now. Right now. All of them who does
Adish. Let me say morning to Adish from the right man.
must bow.
Darwin Daniel, a pleasant good morning.
Unity is the banner
Hey, Devon, good morning.
together. I say
Zibrangani, good morning.
And this love is for free.
Hey, Jenny Bell, good morning to you, Jenny Bell.
Each day.
Ann Brown, good morning. Radhika, Ramchit, good morning. Showen, good morning. Lisa Ali, a pleasant good morning to you. Vishnu, Gopal, good morning.
Love to heal and nation.
Hey, Wendy and John, good morning, Daro. Hey, Denver Mohan, a pleasant good morning to you. I talked with our candidate yesterday. I tell him I just had to get myself together. How things? Did you walk yesterday? I know it's supposed to walk yesterday. Today.
Come on.
Supposed to be up and running with a vehicle by. Let me say by Wednesday or so.
Of satisfaction.
Just tomorrow. But you know me, when I settle, I settle. When I settle, I don't stop. So I have to make sure my house in order first. Before I could pick up the challenge and then I drop back off, pick up the challenge, drop back off. I can't do that. When I in. You know how I just do it, boy, Denver.
Inside.
Alisa Ghani, good morning. Sita. Motilal, good morning. Jag Group, a pleasant good morning to you. Ruby Sami, good morning. Javika Balkaran, a pleasant good morning. CG. Yeah, boy, I cool down. When you work, boy, when the pitbull ain't well, there's no one they say, no one they can tell. They were going on, yes. If I only boy right now, boy, my head go bust open. I can't say, boy, oh God. Right now, yeah, boy, CG, boy, I put on right now, boy. Pain in my eye, pain in my head, pain in my body. Oh God, boy. Like I got the Rowley. So that way we talking about CG, boy. CG, boy. Oh God, let me go organize with my co-host here. I'll be here all day, but I won't talk much. You know? Oh boy, my co-host, boy. Hey, my wife and all this say, boy, when you're sick, it's be nice. Sheldon Roach, you know, join me, boy. Good morning. Hey, Dara, saying good morning. Look, Tom Ford now joining me too. Why all you late so? Eh? Why all you late? Lennox Smith, a pleasant good morning to you, my brother. I ain't hearing you, you know. Oh boy. Nah, I ain't hearing you yet. You go get good. Earl, Logan. Good morning, Earl. Shaman. Shaman, good morning. Chini Nairo, good morning. Don't tell Angela sing good morning already. Fagaro, how are you going, girl? You trouble, you know. Good morning, Fagaro.
Are you hearing me now, my friend? Loud and clear?
You real loud and clear, boy. Wow, your boss man, yes. Again, next you
I hear you, my friend. Well, that's how the technology goes, you know, it rises and falls. The vicissitude of course, the technology, rise and fall.
Yes.
Well, I know that, and I'm sure that the audience would be appreciative of the fact that the voice has caught a little glitch, so to speak. Of course, we all are human beings and subjected, of course, to times of incapacitation. But that does not mean that the show must not go on. And therefore, of course, as typical Boy Scouts, as we proud to, of course, describe ourselves as we are, and of course, as Girl Guides as well, those very valuable contributions made by the female sect of the human species. We want to say, of course, I want to say, of course, a pleasant good morning to all and sundry, East, West, North, South, Central, our friends in Tobago, and wherever you are, streaming on the World Wide Web, a pleasant good day to you. Yes, Andy is a bit a voice struck, for whatever better term, and but the responsibility, of course, we share, And therefore, of course, while he will be limited because, he is at master control, I can, of course, support, or should I say supplement to what is happening by merely, of course, issuing or sharing with you the reports on the various newspapers and what is making the headlines. Now, remember, of course, our focus in any measure on the goings on or the current implosion of the PNM is merely for referencing purposes. It does not take away the substantial issue of incompetence, impotence, and the underlying factors that may well be the reason why, and even if it's in the area of speculation, because the PNM has demonstrated that it is a clandestine organization. I have concluded that it is also a criminal enterprise, having regard, of course, fundamentally not just the illegalities and the misrepresentation and the exploitation of the resources, the position, and the depletion of the country's wealth, and of course the inability of the government, or should I put it another way, the ability of the government to manufacture situations that shows that there is concerted effort to, of course, misbehave in public office, mismanage the resources of the country, and we must, of course, that must be our fundamental focus as we go inexorably, not only to an election, but to, of course, displace this administration, having regard to all of the facts that are before us. So I want to make certain that we are never diverted in any substantial way, because that is what they would like us to do, focus on their internal collapse. We are not concerned about that, even though they are in government, and therefore we must pay some measure of attention. But the extent to which that measure will attract resources and commentary, I say to you, we are very limited deliberately in terms of how we treat with that matter. So let us not be in any way diverted, and I expect the callers to, of course, follow suit, because we have led you over the years, over the last 10 years in particular, in the right direction. We did, in fact, predict what would have happened in Tobago. We are now, well, I am now predicting, even though, of course, we know it is a win, but the degree of the win, and I'm saying that I've revised my own situation in terms of my assessment from 27 seats to 39. And that will not stop the government and the PNM from initiating what is called an auto coup in politics, meaning that utilizing the resources of the country in order, of course, to stay in office illegally, illegitimately, by, of course, the abuse of the resources. And therefore, that too must be part and parcel of the narrative and the observations of the electorate as they go to the polls and cast their votes solidly in favor of the UNC, Kamala Persad-Bissessar, and whatever configuration that they may end up with going into the 2025 general election, if it is called this year, having regard, of course, to the PNM saying, and that is part of their tricks, saying that they will have a convention in September, around the 28th, I think, is a date that they have indicated, suggesting that that is late because the parliament would have been long prorogued for the purposes of ending this session, meaning that this term of office, the 5-year term, and therefore it is another exercise in exploiting the situation in order to get some kind of advantage in their favor. And of course, we will be monitoring those issues. Anything you want to add, Andy, before I go to the news?
Nah. No, you go ahead, partner.
Right,
Let me hear the news.
okay,
Let me hear the
well,
news. Let me hear
but
the Hey, one thing I wanted to ask. So now we turn around. Remember, right before the 2025, it had some kind of home invasion where they say a man jumped through the window with his child and whatever, and now it turned out like it's he's who, well, that is why I alleged because before, obviously, it waiting with the DPP. That it looking like it's he is who spouse. The same thing I talked about yesterday. Remember, I say most times.
Yeah. Yes.
It look like,
well, the information is that the woman, who is supposed to be, I think, a clerk or something
yeah,
like that.
judicial officer or something.
Yes, judicial. Yes. Well, it appears. Well, the original information is that she went outside to talk to someone. Clearly, when we look at the physical situation, from the pictures that we have, is a very small wooden living space or quarters or home, and he was inside with the children, and he heard, of course, a bit of noise and so on, and then eventually somebody came masked, and he ran out with the children, and when he returned, the person was chopped to death. So that is really that is what we got initially. You put in another dimension to the entire thing, where it may have been that very individual who was claiming that he came back and met her dead. So that's as far as I know. I don't know if you have additional information that you could share with me and, of course, the national and international community.
That is why it looking. No, well, now we're hearing that he himself now is in police custody.
Is the prime suspect?
Yeah, where they send some file to the DPP and are waiting the DPP instructions to charge him for murder his wife.
All right. Okay.
I will reach now.
All right. Well, I'll follow up on that.
Check yesterday. Check
what
the
I just
papers
wrote to you.
I was shocked. I said, where are you? It's exactly what I said the boys were going by.
Yeah, well.
And then she 3 months pregnant.
We are practical people. And yes, and she was pregnant as well. Very, very unfortunate. And of course, the mother toll has extended to 12. A woman again in Belmont. I understand that she was viewed as an informer, and so she met her demise as a consequence. And then, of course, there was another in, I think, Barpo. Two victims. One died, and another one is nursing injury in some medical facility thereabout. So the situation continues. I think around this time last year, because they're making the comparison, I think it would have been 20 something. So to me, 12 is not far from 20 something, but they would make the distinction in order, depending on who you talk to, in order, of course, to either just justify the presence of this SOE or not to justify it, because it's all about, of course, trying to curb the unrelenting and very, very concerning murder rate in Trinidad and Tobago. But go ahead, you were saying something?
Yeah, and if all you have any information on that same thing I was talking about there, you could always think. I also see yesterday, Dr. Rowley really in charge, boy. He was on fire in Parliament, talking about the SOE and thing and war. The man fully control and all of them, like they watch them. That real respect for he, boy.
Yeah,
I'm afraid he, boy.
Yeah, he's a bully, and their very existence is dependent on him, and he's going to, of course, exact, something like Shylock. He will exact his pound of flesh. The only problem here, the technical part of it, is that he could take the flesh, but don't spill any blood, and that was an impossible exercise, and therefore, of course, that too will dissipate. As far as Rowley is concerned, because evil could never prevail over good. This much we know and accept. You just have to think about Hitler and Mussolini and Saddam Hussein and, of course, Mugabe in Zimbabwe, and of course Gaddafi in Libya, and of course our friend next door right here, Maduro. So we know it's just a matter of time. So that too will dissipate, and we will get back to some degree of normalcy. And those persons who believe that they are beholding and will compromise their integrity and the institution to which they are attached, believing that somehow they must be beholding, that too will of course come to pass, and greater stability and civility will return to Trinidad and Tobago. That much I could assure. Any additional before I go straight into the news?
Yeah, go ahead with some other news by time.
PM is saying Lisa Morris Julian was a gift to Trinidad and Tobago. Well, of course, you cannot avoid the political exploitative nature of those statements that he would have made. At one time at her funeral, he talked about, of course, she's the jewel in the crown of public service in Trinidad and Tobago. Of course, when we delve into how she got there, well, she was not our first choice in the first place to represent Dabadi O'Meara. It was, of course, what's his name, Antoine, who of course made the most asinine statement about the United States, and he was the one that was nominated to contest that seat. So she was a second choice at minimum. But to say that, suggesting from what Rowley is saying now that she got there largely because of her own volition and the things that he has been saying, clearly there is skepticism at minimum as to the veracity of what he's saying and or the sincerity thereof. So I am not sold by Dr. Rowley's platitudes and of course sudden love for the deceased, posthumously, that is. Gopi Skun, industrial commercial property tax off the table for now. But the operating word is for now. But you could rest assured that will happen. And of course, when one looks back at that particular property tax matter, not only as Dr. Rowley once again and the PNM demonstrated, and he did the same thing yesterday as well, but unashamedly, because he said that he never said that he will take SOE off the cards. Well, he did say that. English language is very simple to those who may want, of course, to manipulate it. They may want it to look different because they use semantics and what is called circumlocution, roundabout talk, in order, of course, to make their point, having, of course, strayed from where they were before. But he said it categorically, just as how he said that he will not, of course, engage in property tax, that he will not engage, of course, in the reduction in subsidies. Well, he is at it again because he said categorically and was critical of Kamala Prasad Bisesa and the UNC in implementing SISOE for the purposes of crime, because he was scoffing at that. He said, well, why the hell you want a state of emergency for crime? But that is how he was, very dismissive and excoriating, as he said that there were sufficient laws and the police service, the law enforcement agencies at the time in 2011 when he was opposition leader. He said that the police have enough capacity and so on to treat with the crime situation. Similar to what he has now not just proposed but has implemented in 2025. Of course, the big difference is that I think the opposition leader did in fact take note and shared it with, of course, the national community in that debate. Why now? Why now? Why a certain motion now? Why didn't you do it at the beginning of the year? You must have known that you would have had under your belt the first and second then largest amount of murders in Trinidad and Tobago's history as far as crime is concerned. Why didn't you do it then? You know what this man turned and said? He said that if he had done it then, it was no guarantee that there would have been a reduction. Yet still, he said that he confirmed that, of course, there was a reduction in murders under the SOE initiated by the UNC under Kamala Prasad Bisesa. And amazingly, he said, well, even in his iteration of a state of emergency, which is, of course, we are experiencing now, he said that there has been a reduction. So the man is convoluted. I think he's becoming now more and more what I consider to be senile. I don't know if his age or is his reputation for being mendacious, a lying person, and therefore it is now becoming pathological, meaning that there is a disease as far as this man is concerned. The judiciary mourns Jones P. Madeira. I remember him very well, of course, in his experience as far as the 1990 coup is concerned. Opposition leader, why call SOE now? So that's the article I was referring to in advance earlier. So no need to elaborate further. PM. Police stations are being closed for a fear of criminals. Again, an argument that is in the sphere or in the area of phantasmagorical. He normally does that for emphasis and to, of course, get his way. You notice he did the same thing with respect to closing down Petrotrin. He talked about, of course, persons who are janitors who are getting huge salary compared to others, and he has this bleeding heart for those persons who are getting less. But he, of course, went and increased his from where it was before to some $87,000 a month. So we know the nature of the guy. He uses these things conveniently, and therefore this is another edition of that kind of phantasmagorical talk. So he says that once again, PM police stations are being closed for fear of criminals, and you could imagine his body language and how he would have, of course, said it in order, of course, to engender fear, of course, and to at the same time simultaneously satisfy an argument that, of course, we all know is another failure on his part. The man is suffering from a deep sense of what I consider to be inferiority complex. Union search all prison officers, not just juniors. Well, of course, the police have taken over, of course, search and so on, persons entering the prison system in the country. And of course, the union connected to the prison is saying, well, listen, only junior officers are being targeted. What about the senior officers? That seemed to be a fair argument to make sure that fairness occurs in the system, but it appears instructions would have been given not to, of course, interfere with the big boys, but to, of course, be very, should I say, meticulous as far as junior officers are concerned. The trade union, of course, has made its position clear. The Prison Officers Association, that is. THA Secretary Trevor James nominated to contest general elections. Well, yes, the elections of 2025 is, of course, as I said, it might well be early 2026. Having regard, of course, to the tardiness or the lethargy that we see emanating from the PNM that is in government, and of course, while they put their house in order, the people are suffering because they want to have an unfair advantage, as we have seen that is stereotypical of the Rowley-led PNM. So So he will contest. He will contest one part of the two seats. Remember, he felt that he was a victim when, of course, licensing officers came from Trinidad to find out how come he was able to get, I think, a vehicle of his license or inspected. I think is the inspection part of it. You know, you have to inspect your vehicle over a certain age on an annual basis. And it appears that they were operating under the notion that he probably, this is my interpretation of the situation, maybe paid a bribe or got someone, of course, to do it for him without being being present. So they went home, and I think armed with a warrant as well, if I am not mistaken, in order to deal with that very what I consider to be nebulous issue. No, in my lifetime, I have never heard of or seen that kind of manpower resource of the license office being deployed for such what I consider to be insignificant actor. But clearly, he made it very clear in a press conference that the THA secretaries, the new administration, the Farley-led administration, is under attack from Trinidad. Quite apart, of course, and there is justification for it, because quite apart from that, and apart from the activities of the license division by officers from Trinidad and Tobago doing their usual work, so they will claim, but you also have that of police officers as well engaging. And in fact, there is, of course, a contingent of police officers attached to the Tobago police in Tobago. And clearly, when one looks at that attempt to look for and acquire the video, not a video, but an audio tape that suggested that the Farley administration were looking to use state resources in order to, of course, get some kind of electoral advantage. Of course, I suppose not birds of feather in this case, but people see in others that which is in them. And that is what the PNM is known for. That is what Rowley will do when he sees in others that which is in him. That particular case. A Barrackpore man killed, another wounded in shooting. I made reference to that already because with respect, of course, to the number of murders so far, up to 12 at this time. A Belmont woman gunned down. Mother wants earlier police patrols. Well, of course, I mentioned that as well in connection with the Barrackpore one, merely to say that the murders continues unabated, despite of course, Dr. Rowley has described the SOE as one that is not as intrusive or is a soft one. That's the impression I got from his statement. Is a soft one. That is to say, there is no curfew, and as a consequence, the totality of what is expected. But that is typical of Rowley. They say big things, but it ends up to be zero as they fail one after the other in spectacular fashion. $750,000 bail for retired fireman on marijuana trafficking charge. So that is something we be looking at. A retired fireman who, of course, whose home was searched, and these items were discovered, according to the police. Brown Nobriga to screen for Diego Martin West Central. Well, of course, respectively, Brown was KG. He was playing his cards close to his chest, and now he has revealed all that. In fact, what we were saying all the time, that he had his eyes on, and no doubt, of course, with the consent, and that is our let's say interpretation or adding utilizing, of course, journalistic elasticity. So let me see that, of course, Brown was KG all the time, saying that he's not certain. He was imbuing some degree of doubt as to whether or not he will be contesting at all. And then, of course, we learned of a letter that was sent to the General Secretary, and now we know that he is the lone person to be screened for that particular seat. That is to say, the seat that is now occupied by Keith Christopher Rowley, the Prime Minister of the country and the still leader of the PNM. Nobriga, of course, will go back to Central, so he is the incumbent, and he has put in his nominations for that as far as the party is concerned. Marshall Montano and friends, I take a soca to NPR Tiny Desk, and as a internationally recognized musical should I say, promotional platform, and it is groundbreaking for Trinidad and Tobago, because soca was never an important genre as far as music is concerned there, and therefore it is being seen as a spectacular promotion of soca by that performance that he gave, a medley of several of his songs that was part and parcel of his performance. Central Cups fined the 16 million, no, 16 M60, yes, M16. I say that. I seen the M there, but it is in front, but I thought it was in the back. So let's go again. Central Cups fined M16 rifle in Prance Gardens. I have not read that, so I don't know what are the circumstances. Of course, I read the other article, however. Dukaran, leadership succession must be complete and unambiguous. I agree. The ambiguity and the cloudiness and the dustiness of this so-called succession initiative of Dr. Rowley. Clearly, he wants it under his terms. He, as you rightly said, Andy, he did in fact read the attack, it appears. And of course, I could see him saying, well, listen, I'll fire this one because I'm still the Prime Minister. I could see him saying in that meeting that, of course, those of you who don't want to conform, well, you simply will have to lose the position you have now. And with it, of course, the shame and disgrace that will go with it, because I am still in charge. And of course, even if I hand it over to Stuart Young, I am still in charge because, of course, he has been my what I consider to be bagman and case holder, so to speak, and at the same time, of course, my sidekick. So we know that he will be there still, calling the shots behind the scene. And Stuart Young, I would have expected, will be calling on him for any decision that he wants to make, even though Rowley might be in some other part of the world. I want to say, of course, last night on the corridor transformation, we did speculate as to what is the real reason for Rowley departing in the sudden way that he has, clearly unplanned, because all of this, what is unfolding within the bosom of the PNM, would not have been if he had planned it. And of course, there are ample indications to show that it was never planned, especially when, of course, he said that he had a letter prepared for sending to CARICOM in order to get observers here for the next election. So that is a major indication. But then, of course, he was up and down the place cutting ribbons and, of course, either turning sod or opening various facilities constructed by this government. So we know that these are signs that is not a man that was intended to leave office in the way that he eventually did. So what has transpired between then and the statement that he would have made in terms of his departure? Well, of course, we have exploited that, and of course we played, of course, a tape where a journalist asked him directly a very frontal question when he had, let's say, unscheduled, from what we were told, stay in the United States, just about a month, when he was asked very pointedly, listen, there is, of course, speculation that a senior government minister is under investigation by the United States for money laundering, etc. And she asked the question whether or not it was him directly. And I thought that was a journalist of courage. And of course, he never responded directly, as you know, but he said that he doesn't have a bank account in any other country but in Trinidad, and that, of course, he wasn't surprised that he would have been the one targeted. Well, it's obvious. You did not explain why the extra days that you stayed back in the United States when everybody else came back home. and so of course it was right. So the point I am making, I'm saying all that to say that it may be, of course, the inevitable advent of Donald Trump. Excuse me, on the 20th. And after that, we will see what is happening. Maybe he's preparing, of course, the party for the inevitable consequence of something that may not be, should I say, publicly nice for the party, and he being, of course, prime minister. So we see what transpires as the time unfolds. Actually, this position was taken not because of speculation or hairy-fairy or any kind of amorphous rationality, but it was taken because of Dr. Rowley's consistent modus operandi. We saw that, of course, a similar situation with respect to the Police Service Commission when he made that intervention and claimed in the beginning that it was not him. Of course, we looked at the Vincent Nelson matter, where he, of course, even reference a famous case with Abdul Malik, and of course the state witness, and he was saying that Vincent Nelson was assisting his government to put officers of the Kamala Prasad Bissessa administration in handcuff. Remember, all of those statements were made up and down. And when, of course, the ultimate came, he had several things happen. When the truth came out of how that was to be, or how that came about, is, of course, an indemnity agreement. $10 million was given to, of course, Vincent Nelson in that matter. It's impossible, of course, for him to be a state witness in a criminal matter in any jurisdiction that has respect for the criminal law or the operation of the criminal law. And then of course, we saw the withdrawal of the charges that was levied against Alan Ramlogan and Ramdeen. And the usual, Rowley would, of course, say that the Prime Minister, no, the Cabinet, so he defended the Cabinet as well, is unaware of such developments as far as setting up these public figures, opposition public figures, for charges that was levied by the state. But more significantly, I think, is when, of course, Al-Rari was removed from the office of the Attorney General, clearly to sedate and to reduce the amount of embarrassment and the amount of heat that would have been otherwise that targeted or directed to the government of the day. But we have these things to look at, and we are not going to be, as I said, distracted by the internal wranglings within, of course, the PNM, which, of course, is unfolding. But as I said, we will pay very little attention, but, of course, more attention to the evil and the incompetence and impotence and, of course, the criminal behavior of the Rowley administration over the last 10 years. Hines praises SOE ahead of a parliament debate, criminals on the run. Well, the murders doesn't seem to suggest that, but that is their fantasy. They will do that, as I say, make these phantasmagorical claims, and at the end of the day, it's not, of course, in sync with the reality. What again? Opposition leader Young cannot fix a Trinidad and Tobago. Obviously, I mean, that goes without saying. You don't need the opposition leader to say to remind us of that. But it is nice of us so to do. But it is clear that, of course, it's more of the same we will get. And of course, this man, a total moron, clearly does not fit the bill for addressing the problems of Trinidad and Tobago. What has to happen, of course, we are insisting, is that, and I think that is clearly unanimous, we need to get an election going early rather than later. But the longer the PNM takes it to fix its own house at the expense of the rest of us, the pain, the ache, the agony, the high prices, the murders, the crime, the criminality, the paltry performance of our for youths in various parts of the country and in the education system, and we can go on and on. Everything clearly has failed, but they alone, of course, will tell us how well they are doing until, of course, the election comes and the population, just as in Tobago, will let them know how they really feel. So there are other plans, of course, that I know that you and Mikey will reveal in terms of what the ground report will be doing, the pushback movement and other initiatives to hasten that inevitable defeat of the PNM by the UNC and Kamala Persad-Bissessar in whatever date and time that the election is called. Reluctant as Rowley would want to be, but Trump is coming, so I suppose they are making preparations for that as well. CAFA recommends, of course, vigilance among HMPV concerns. Of course, that's the virus that is, I understand, is upper respiratory virus that is plaguing China at this point in time. They're saying it is not deadly as such, but we must take precautions. So the CAFA, the Caribbean, of course, institution responsible for health in this part of the world is cautioning that, of course, countries should take caution. Of course, I understand that there is a vaccine for it, and it is available in Trinidad and Tobago, according to the minister. But then you never could tell, because it was Rowley who told us that all senior citizens must go and take any one of the vaccines that was available for COVID. Remember that incident? And then he had to come and apologize that there were no vaccines, and that was an impossible exercise. What he did not do, however, and I think that is where I believe he should be held culpable of, and taken to the International Criminal Court for juranticide, the killing of our senior citizens, because here it is, 5,000 persons died in COVID, as a result of COVID in Trinidad, and that would have been a mass spread event that he created, but never once turned to any one of the bereaving and traumatized families to assist with the burial and the funeral of these people. But of course, he find it fit now to, of course, increase his salary. And I'm certain that if there was, of course, a similar opportunity, if Kamala Persad-Bissessar was Prime Minister, I'm certain that would not have been a consideration at all, having regard, of course, to the economic circumstances of the country. But that is Rowley for you. SOE's impact on prisons. Well, yes, the prison officers are claiming that they have additional pressure, but equipment and materials are not forthcoming, and therefore they are complaining of the shambolic or the chaotic situation that either is occurring or can occur or is about to occur in the prison system. Hines, in fact, claimed that over 500 persons have been detained, and of course, and I think he gave a detention order recently. He signed a detention order for someone that the police is interested in recently, to add to, of course, the numbers that are already in custody and held, of course, at 3 locations in Trinidad. Of course, the prison officers, the Welfare Association of the prison officers are claiming that 2 of these prisons are totally unfit for the detention of these people. So we see how that pans out. The perils of moving around in a wheelchair, that's a human situation there, a humane story situation, let me put it that way. All right, so those are some of the issues, and I trust that the numbers will now be given so that people can make their contribution. I think we have covered the period that we normally would do our introductions and recognize certain persons that are either on or not on the live, but of course the show has to go on, and we need to get, of course, people's their own, of course, versions of what is happening, their own, of course, front burner issues, and, of course, their commentary on what we would have, of course, said and what they would have gleaned from what was said in the news at this point in time. Andy? All right, the appears. Andy? All right, as well. Well, of course, that means that I have to continue. Griffith, leave Young's stepdaughter out of politics. I think everything is on the cards. He is the prime minister. His stepdaughter was, in fact,
let me take some calls now.
Yeah, okay.
All right,
so, give the numbers, and I don't have the numbers in front of me. Give the numbers, and we'll take some calls. And of course, don't forget, people, to create your voicemails as well. We will, of course, air them during the course of the program.
Yeah, the numbers are called. Yeah, the numbers are called 239-5120, 239-5120, or 225-6644, 225-6644. Right? Let me say morning to the Gael family. We are live. And good morning to each and every one of you that are locked onto the ground report this morning. Yeah, well, I ain't feeling too hot, but you know the program had to go on. Hope that Mikey K join us today on the program. Right, so the lines are open, Trinidad and Tobago. Nigeria, thanks so much. Oh boy. So the lines are open. Real people was calling, you know.
Oh well, you should have stopped me, man. We always give way to the callers. We make that a major platform of this program. But I suppose you probably wanted to glean a little more news because of kinds is saying, of course, Golden Grove and Carrera, suitable SOE detention centers. Of course, the prison association is saying something different. So you always have these contradictions, and you could bet your bottom dollar that the government is always wrong. They have demonstrated that in no uncertain terms over the last 10 years. Hines, of course, is claiming 569 people arrested in SOE thus far. Where they are going to be placed, of course, in these facilities, one in the east, of course, Carrera and Golden Grove. So let's see what is happening.
Which part Carrera is? That is on the islands or something?
On the islands, yes. Is an island.
That's still operating? I thought it said closed down sometime.
Yeah, it appears so. A long time I've not heard about it. So they could, of course, resume operation for the specific purpose of the SOE, because you could get those who you're targeting on an island by themselves. They can't escape, and you could do what you want to them, I suppose, or with them, as the case may be. So that's what I see here. I haven't read the article, but that is what is the headline story as far as that is concerned. Young SOE regulations tougher than existing laws. But I see why is he saying that? I think a judge or a magistrate is asking the question, why you charge the man under the SOE law when the normal law is much more punitive. I have to find that article. Yeah. But Young is saying, of course, the regulations are tougher than existing laws, and that is why, of course, they choose to go the SOE. I tell you, everything they touch seem to crumble before the national population's eye. I mean, in spectacular fashion. It's as if they have been part of the biblical story of Sodom and Gomorrah, where, of course, everything they touch seems to turn a pillar of salt, because, of course, they want to look back, because they want to get glory that really and truly they are undeserving of. So I want to look for that article as well. I think I will read a bit from it.
Hold 1 minute, right? Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, go ahead, caller.
Good morning, ground report.
Yeah, good morning.
I need to know here for that. Andy, let me tell you something. It was one of the most full things. I sat yesterday from 1:30 until last night when the parliament finished, which was about nearly 11 o'clock. So that is well over 10 hours. I sat down by my television and watched the whole issue with the debate that was taking place yesterday. And my God, let me tell you something. This woman, the Speaker of the House, have a kind of lavash rat attitude towards the opposition. So every time anybody get to make a comment, she interrupting them and whatnot, repetitive. You're repeating them, and this kind of nonsense. When the PNM doing it, and she ain't saying nothing, But you know what I'm saying? I want to say this. Lennox, what you was just saying there, that all the laws, the regulations that they part under the state of emergency, based on what I heard from the opposition, have already existed. And in fact, some of the laws, they're under the normal thing. It's more punitive than what they have now under state of emergency. So I can't understand what the hell that this calling a state of emergency, where they could have used these very said laws, to carry about and make arrests and whatnot. But you see, they still want to make it look like something, extraordinary. Because I'll tell you why I'm saying this, You remember in the parliament, the opposition, especially Dr. Monilal, had called for the issue, in fact, asked the government, what is the issue with the body cameras and what have you and whatnot. And William Hines always saying that we have ordered, if you could remember in the parliament, we have ordered so much and so much body cameras, and they should be due soon. But now we see anything that they hire a middleman to order the cameras, and we could have been doing it directly from either government or whatever agency is responsible for that. But we hire a middleman, and only to see now that the middleman is complaining, because as I was saying, I was listening to another program sometime, and they're saying that the cost of the body cameras is utterly madness. It's $8,000 for one, which is ridiculous. It comes just like the ladders we bought from Amalgamated. How much thousands of dollars for one? I wouldn't ladder. But what the point I'm making is this. You're telling people that you order the cameras, now that the people is calling for a down payment for it, that is not happening, and that's up since September. What is even more laughable is the Prime Minister, now we dealing with crime, The Prime Minister is saying that, from his understanding, that the police stations and them, they are switching off the lights. They're so afraid of the criminal, they're closing the gates and they're switching off the lights and what have you and things. Now, isn't this shameful, as you are the head of the Security Council, and you have a Minister of National Security and a police commissioner, that this thing is happening? I don't think that happens. That will only happen if you have a civil war or something like that.
Hold 1 minute. Let me play what it is you're talking about. Because you are so correct. I know shock on Trinidad and Tobago, all of you that are locked onto us on Guy of the Caribbean, all of you that are locked onto us on all the social media platforms. What Mr. Tunapuna is saying is totally right. The Prime Minister is actually saying, right again, remember, I'm not feeling too hot here. Prime Minister is actually saying, admitting that, imagine the people who are supposed to protect us, hiding in the station, just close the door, lock up because they don't know when the criminal elements will come for them, the police. Listen to him. Well, listen to him.
Whose job it is to protect us and to secure us. In some districts at night, are so afraid of the criminals that they close the police station door, turn off the lights, and be inside there hoping that the criminals don't come at them. That happens. Madam Speaker, it's not supposed to happen, but it happens. And Madam Speaker, the criminals come in front of the police station, choose it. I'm not speaking to you, I know you have to relate it. Madam Speaker, I'm speaking to you.
You see how he bullying the people? Somebody asks something and he go on and he bullying. But there is no whole little thing. But listen to this next one. Listen to this next one. Listen to this next one. He making his case now. Listen to Raul, he make his case.
They don't respect. As a matter of fact, Madam Speaker, they expect to benefit from the generosity of the law-abiding ones. And that is why there is a strong feeling, Madam Speaker, that the rules that we've made and the laws that we've made and the enforcement levels are not sufficiently rigorous to treat with the harshness and the cruelty of the criminal. But they have power. They believe they can engage law enforcement officers in shootouts, and sometimes, Madam Speaker, they kill law enforcement officers, and sometimes law enforcement officers are forced to defend themselves by killing them. Madam Speaker, that is not a good epitaph of our society. But that's what it is. Because we cannot for 1 minute say that we would give up on this fight, or that we can't win this fight. So, when officers are in the police station, it has come to my attention in some districts, some instances, police officers whose job it is to protect us and to secure us in some districts at night are so afraid of the criminals that they close the police station door, turn off the light, and be inside there hoping that the criminals don't come at them. That happens. Madam Speaker, it's not supposed to happen, but it happens.
What you going to
And Madam
do
Speaker,
in opposition?
the criminals come in front of the police station, choose it. I'm not speaking to you, I know you have to relate it. Madam Speaker, I'm speaking to you. Madam Speaker, when citizens identifying themselves as lawbreakers choose their place of attack to be in front of a major police station inside the city and to carry out an attack using the most sophisticated killing weapons, it tells you, Madam Speaker, that they have no regard for law enforcement in our society. And they benefit from the fact that the law is as protective of them as they are not as protective of us. We saw the outrage, Madam Speaker. We saw the outrage. And the population was equally outraged. But Madam Speaker, because this criminal element that's going on in our society is commercial enterprise, some of them attempting to hold territory, to claim districts, to label districts and to operate it as their fiefdom. They have to protect and then retaliate. So just as to be expected, when this outrage took place at the Besson Street police station, within a matter of hours, more murder and mayhem was planned and executed. And the next event was a shooting in Prisgalan, where 5 people were killed, 4 on the scene and 1 in the hospital. Was the other way around? But there were only 5 dead. It's 4 on the scene and 1 in the hospital in one killing incident. And the weapon of choice, Madam Speaker, in these situations are assault weapons designed not to blame or to stop, but make sure to kill high quality, high caliber weapons. So, Madam Speaker,
Yeah, Lennox Smith. Go ahead, Mr. Tunapuna.
Yes, Andy.
Yeah, what? Yeah, yes, I heard it. Which is typical of it reminds me when he was boasting in the most rambunctious manner and authoritatively, of course, and contemptuous when he was saying that he did not closing down Petrotrin, or when, of course, he was saying that in the dead of night, you had the then government changing contracts as far as some land down at Chagaramas is concerned. So that is still stereotypical. See how easy I am able to make references, because that's happened already. So we know the kind of man he is. So I'm not impressed. except
Nice.
because-
Well, all right. Well, let me hear what Mr. Tunapuna say. Mr. Tunapuna, what is your contribution now? Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mr.
Because you say stay up 10 hours watching the Parliament channel.
Right. Let me tell this country something. Listening to the utterances of the Prime Minister, could you, the citizens of this country, including that of the business sector, feel comforted and feel that you guys could be protected by what is being said? Because there is so much issues that you talk about. Remember when they boat with the oil spill in Tobago and what other thing? And there was talk about maybe drugs could have been passing through and whatnot. And he talked about putting up a Coast Guard post in Tobago and all of that. Did that materialize? There are so much issues that the $100 million that they wanted to bring on retired army officers and all them kind of thing, and to implement this and that and all kind of by people only and the government. It's initiative. Nothing has materialized. And in fact, as a consequence of that, things got worse, Andy. So people Trinidad and Tobago, if all you could just sit down and feel comforted with Keith Rowley and them, with all this other dotish talk. You understand? And then you had one who is now the Prime Minister, acting Prime Minister, or Deputy Prime Minister, who was the Minister of National Security, Short Young, and was an abysmal failure. I want to just draw your attention, gentlemen, something. And I know that yesterday, you read the article of Professor Selvin Kojo, The Final Betrayal. You read that article enough?
Go ahead. I didn't hear you clearly, but you go ahead.
There was a Professor Selvin Kojo, The Final Betrayal. Now, why I'm quoting, I don't know if you read it, but why I want to draw reference to this is this. In fact, yesterday the Parliament was supposed to debate that as well, the pension bill. But for some reason, that wasn't thing. And then you were supposed to have the information provided by Stuart Young that was requested by the Dr. Munilal with respect to all his travels to Venezuela and what were the results, how it benefited the state and what not. But then suddenly, they squeezed in the Pan-Trinbago issue about the emblem and what other things. You know, in a subtle way then, and only provided the information very late to the opposition, and they didn't know, they were caught unaware that this was going to be debated. But however, let me get to the issue with Professor Selvin Kojo, because remember under Patrick Manning, the PNM people, government rather, they were talking about the pension or the grant and whatnot, and you heard Rowley and all of the dotations what he wanted to talk about. If you have the $25,000, you would not be able to get pension. And the man who is responsible for drafting all these things is the Attorney General, who lied to the population and said that he was not there and he was out of the country and that was an error by a public servant and whatnot. But here what I want to say, what Professor Selvin Kojo said. The leader thought that he was in control of his party when he postponed the PNM convention last November, presumably because Stuart Young, his protege, could not win the leadership race. He blundered further when he accepted the $87,000 monthly salary, which he gave to himself a monthly pension on the same amount for life, right? While he denied senior citizens a pension of $3,000 per month. The leader forgot, or he did not know, that a pension is not a gift, and as they were saying, a grant, to senior citizens, but a debt to society owes them for their service to the country. So you see, all this other bull talk and all this dotage that Rogan and them talking about pension and thing, and you're not entitled to it and whatnot. Professor Selvin Kojo put it is a debt. It is something that you owe the people. It is enshrined in the law of the Constitution. And this is one of the ways that you would find that you would take care of your senior citizens who has contributed to this country. But you say they want to play games and manipulate all these things that they want, just like with the food stamp, the food grant, all the different things that people have been receiving. Because I tell you something for us. This country in crisis, because that Modi report is very questionable. The economy is in shambles. This is why you see they want to sell all the assets of Clico, which is True Value, this, that mall, and all of them kind of things. They're desperate for money. This is why they want to implement all the new taxes and all of that. Increase water rates, electricity rates, and you name it, Lennox. So people, I want all to understand that don't expect anything new from this new, or this so-called new Prime Minister that they're anointed. And you people, if you're so black conscious, not that I'm preaching grace, but when you see that this man and his family benefited so much, and he recused himself from so much sitting in the parliament to enhance and to enrich his family. And the whole problem is that the pressure that is coming on on the poor people, if we forget and we go and vote the PNM, Tapo smoke with 5 Lennox. This is not no ordinary thing. This thing is by design, by the PNM who sat down and came up with a plan how to pauperize the people and to make the rich get richer and all these kind of things. And yet still, because when the Privy Council could state that how come the Minister of Finance is not being investigated with that money that is missing and all the other aspects of corruption and whatnot. And your Prime Minister is turning a blind eye to all these issues. It means they have to be on the take. And then you heard yesterday where Obashiti Wari Ruptarine was questioning about overseas ministers in government with foreign bank accounts and whatnot and things. And this is what I keep saying, that Keith Rowley, you want Shortung, this is why you want Shortung there, because two all his partners in crime, all they went and signed off this country with on this clause of secrecy and whatnot and things, which the country does not know. And therefore, big money paid, bribes paid, I'm saying this, and deposited in foreign accounts. And just like that, I want to make a mention again, and they are craving 2 minutes, please. Pansin Bego.
What he do to Napuna is he keep close to the bankers. Remember, the bankers plays a major role. They could hide the money. They could make sure everything go clean. So he make sure he clear close to the bankers. And one of the best bankers, serious bankers in the world is Theo Young's brother.
Well, that's what I'm saying, Andy. So he made sure that he could get what he wanted and they would deposit the money in this bank. Very questionable.
As a matter of fact.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry about that.
Yeah, very questionable thing. Now, I just want to draw attention. The hypocrisy of Pantrin Bego. What's her name again, the Pantrin Bego president? How they went about secretly and held the election and some of the key players who are members of Pantrin Bego were aware and not invited to be part of the election process. And the reason why I'm telling you that, it comes up to bribe. Because just the same way that they had the exposure of the businessman, Navin Jindal, to buy Patrotrin, and they say he just paid big bribe. The same way that Pantrin Bego, the designated, and you know the hypocrisy of these people, Basil Pandey gave them a piece of land up at the Piaco. I'm sorry, Twin City, to build Pantrin Bego. And while they're beating the chest and boasting about the achievement of the PAN and the national instrument and what other thing, it is come up with the Chester government. Let me put it straight to you. Or the perception of an Indian government. An Indian government, Pandey gave them the land, an Indian government come up with services. Give $1,000 to every participant, every PAN player in the panorama and what have you. Nothing was given by the PNM. You understand? And when Pandey gave them that land, they wanted to sell it to this Bambani fella who have more
You get a real feedback, boy. I know.
Okay, but the president, of course, is Ramsey Moore. Ramsey Moore, the president of Trinbago. She was just re-elected in a recent election process.
Early morning.
Next caller. Morning. Turn up on a call back now. Because it's a real dread feedback we was getting from you. Morning.
Early morning. Caller from St. Joseph.
Go ahead, St. Joseph.
Andy, I want to ask you this. You see how Gary Griffith dangerous? Last night in a news interview, when he had his party gathering or what, Gary Griffith is admitting that Short Young's stepdaughter is his cousin. All the time he said nothing about that. Suddenly he's admitting Short Young's stepdaughter is his cousin and that she was arrested. But was she ever charged, Andy? Because if she was charged, she couldn't go away. Because it was a criminal charge. Because it had those guns and drugs. So she was arrested, yes, because even those, I arrested her. Did he ever charge her, Andy? You see how Guy Griffith is dangerous? And at the end of his conversation on
you have that clip? Which part you see that?
No, it was on this news. It was on this news channel 6.
But there's a article in today's papers, Andy, where Gary Griffin is saying keep Short Young's stepdaughter out of it. So there may be some veracity to the statement that the caller is making.
Yes, and it was a channel 6 news last night, Andy. Big and bold. And this was making dangerous, Andy. Hear what he's saying? Well, all it chastise me now. Don't chastise Short Young again. Chastise me because that was my cousin. So he's a dangerous one. All the time he said nothing. He said nothing on the matter. You understand, Andy? Later. Thank you.
That is an interesting development, Andy. Very interesting development.
Wow. Thank you very much. Oh boy, let's take our next call. All of the lines are open. We'll check for them voice notes and them. Again, people are feeling so hot this morning, but you know, we have to organize. And morning caller, where you calling from? What's your contribution on the ground report this morning?
Morning, Andy. Morning, Lennox and Mike.
Morning. Good morning.
I want the Alton to answer that. I would need some questions. Listen, we saw where it had a young woman, 2 young couples, right? A man, a young girl, and a young man went to deliver a baby. She was pregnant and she went to the hospital sometime last week. Now, the news doesn't show us that. I never saw that on the news. So you see how after hiding the hide and seeking. I saw that on one evening program. I saw that on. Right? So that is what I'm bringing forward now. We never see that on CNCT. We never see that nowhere else. They went to, she was pregnant, a young couple. She went because she was getting pain, right? When she went, it was 7 o'clock this morning. It's alleged, but it's not alleged, it's a fact, because I saw it. She went 7 o'clock this morning. You know what time they find a bed and put the woman on? 3 o'clock the next day. It's 3 o'clock the next day. The woman went on a bed. So you must expect she will lost the baby. She said when she started get pain, so and she calling nobody and attending to her, nobody coming. When she do started getting pain again, it's because they bring up pampers and they put it on, and that's how the baby come out, and the baby come out inside the pampers and fall out. The baby dead. That is one thing the Alton and them should look after. He should open an inquiry and look after that, because that is a serious act. You understand? In the hospital, that is what's going on, but it's a hide and seek. When them thing happen, when hearing it at all, and he want to come and tell people about this vaccination thing planning, we can't trust this damn government boy. And he said, my family, I will sell my house to him to get a damn good lawyer. Eh? Imagine I born here to have a baby and I lost my baby. Negligence. Or you wicked set of people. That is why he come and say, and then have no babies because he don't want no, he's telling himself too much about having too much of babies in this country. So they don't want that. They do all kind of things to stop it. But I will show you God will stop it because God put us here to multiply the earth. And if all you want to destroy other people, is all you will get it instead. All your dirty, all you will get me sick when I see all you too much of damn thing going on in the country. Everybody lip seal because you know why? One man and one man alone in this country destroying everything we have. Destroying it. And it has to stop. Or you have to go and call an election, boys. Call an election. Let people relax their mind because people are suffering. Nobody can relax on the regime. Call an election, man. Let people come back to their own self again. With their family, they could take a little walk with their family.
Nice. Thank you so much, Miss Lahoketa, for your contribution. Oh boy. Hey, Lennox Smith, is it that Gary Griffith looking to suck up to the new Prime Minister, knowing that he's seen where...
You never could tell because he seemed to be developing a reputation of a wedge broker. As in, always putting a wedge, depending on, of course, who he has targeted, ostensibly as his enemy. And his enemy here, of course, is when he speaks out in his usual, of course, garrulous and what I consider to be ill-advised manner. But I was looking for the article.
But hold 1 minute. Let me take this call here.
Go ahead.
Hi, good morning, Andy. Andy, you're sounding very, very under the weather. I hope that you feel better soon. Good morning, Lennox, Mikey, Newbie, and to everybody out here. I want to tell Gary Griffith, what the hell? Because she related to you, must leave her out of politics. But the caller before raised a good question. Was she ever charged? Now that it has been revealed that she is his family, was she ever charged? Because there are a lot of questions. How did she get to leave the country, being on that big drug charge, right? And on bail? How did she leave the country? Whereas the other person was charged with her, the other I would say the other black girl, right, was charged with her languishing in jail. But the white one get out, right? How did that happen? And hiding in Venezuela. Who's our ambassador? Smart man Dylan, who scammed the old man. You see, when you do wrong in the PNM, how you just get rewarded? You see? We want to know, how did she get bail? How did she end up in Venezuela? So Gary Griffith better go in a corner and don't tell nobody here what to do. Right? So because now she's your family, we must leave her out of politics? No, it don't work so, Gary. It don't work so. And as you rightly ask Andy, who he's sucking up to? Who is he sucking up to? The next one I want to touch on is Dial Singh. Who you feel you fooling? Eh? You don't get bronchitis or some stupidness he talk about. He looking for sympathy because he know his cocktail book. He know it. So he looking for sympathy from now. We don't care. People went into the hospital, as Miss Lahoketa rightly said just now, with worse thing than that, and they never come out. So I don't know who you're trying to fool. And Andy, I don't know if you all saw the TikTok video making the wrongs. There's this woman with a mouthful of false teeth, right? Talking about I come now for Kamala. All only to want Kamala to come back here. But like all you forget when Kamala leave office, the treasury was empty, and that's all they didn't know that the treasury was empty. All they didn't know that. And what about Munilal and the 500 million in EMBD and the fire truck or whatever? Now, first to begin, I want to tell Miss Mouthful of False Teeth, right? Kamala never left the treasury empty. Lennox, you have a right to laugh. Because I don't know where these pickup sizes come from.
Comic relief.
$7 billion in billion US dollars, in the Heritage and Stabilization Fund. Where are we and spending on, madam? Where they get it from? Santa Claus? Santa Claus put it in a stocking for them? What about the billions in US, billions in Forex that Kamala left? And not only did Kamala leave that, Lennox and Andy, but Kamala also left 1.5 billion was to be collected from the Phoenix Bank IPO. 3.8 billion in TGU capital payment, $500 million dividend payment from NGC, millions in payment from Clico, US, the Forex and the HSM, 25 billion in NIS and 26 billion in cash and more. But like Miss Mouthful of False Teeth wasn't listening when Rowley and Imbert had that press conference in December of 2015, where he said the country's finances are not insignificant. Imbert told us that every ministry, including the sports ministry, had an unspent balance of 500 million. Not 5 million, not $500, but 500 million. And they were going to take 139 million to fix up recreation grounds and to finish the aquatic center and whatnot and whatnot. That went into Balizé House. They never fixed nothing. So I want to ask Miss Mouthful of Teeth if she was the Auditor General to know that Kamala and them left the treasury empty. Right? The fire truck, it was beaten. They were voted out of office for the fire truck because Rowley ain't do what Rowley doing now is 10 times a fire truck. But all you don't see that. EMBD, it was I think 300 and something million Lennox, right? Which was just like the emails. It was a figment of Rowley's imagination. Why up to now the case can't call? And I don't want the car park attendant to come and tell me Munilal never filed nothing. Because Munilal filed it years ago. So come with something better than that. Right? You see, there is what to come and talk, only one back Kamala. Yes, we won back Kamala. Because it was Kamala who destroyed this country. But you know, Mouthful of Teeth talking about how Rowley destroyed the country, you know. Mouthful of Teeth and talk, False Teeth and talk about how he take away the laptop and get them 4 mil wheat plant. No, she talk about that. Why she talk about how the gravel went, all the material went missing from the Scarborough Hospital. And it took Kamala's government to spend 750 million to build back the Scarborough Hospital. Why Mouthful of False Teeth talk about that? But no, they come to talk about what Kamala do and what Kamala do. Madam, Kamala did more for this country in 5 years, right, than Rowley ever did in 10 years. And now you want to complain, but you don't want to ask a question. If Rowley go, if anytime Stuart Young have to go away, will Rowley act as Prime Minister? Will the Prime Minister act as Prime Minister? Because I still don't recognize Stuart Young as no damn Prime Minister. The man is a fake and he's a fraud. But coming back to Gary Allen with Gary Griffith, shut your mouth and stay in a corner. Don't come and tell us what to do. Because we know more questions are being asked. Was she ever charged for her to leave the country and hiding in Venezuela? Thanks a lot, guys, and have a good morning.
Thank you very much.
Very salient point, very significant.
The lines are open.
We need to be told. And of course, I think that is easily verifiable. We can search the records and see what has transpired with respect to that particular incident that occurred initially in Westmoreland.
So how you go check that record?
Well, we search for it, and because if it is a high profile case, so we will know who was charged, and therefore we could do a deduction and know that who weren't charged as a consequence of that. So it's complex. It will take some doing, but we can get that information and confirm it one way or another. Because
right.
I mean, the government is really silent about it.
Go ahead, caller.
Yes, I need to put on here again.
All right, go ahead. Finish up your thing.
Right. Now, you have to look at this thing objectively, including not only Gary Griffith's short-term stepdaughter, but Paula Goopy's school son was also before the court. The boat thing during the COVID thing and whatnot, having party and whatnot. Nothing come out of that. But you see, Gary Griffith, he was a stooge. Because when the investigation into the email gate, when you had an opportunity, we will not be going through this crisis today. It would have been either Carrera or Golden Grove. But when this investigation, and you so thirsty for the commissioner of police job, that you know what you said? There is nothing further to investigate under the email gate, and that matter has been closed because you were so relentless in wanting to get that job that eventually when you got it, and when Keith Rowley got off of the investigation, he come and he turn around and he kick in your backside and he remove you as the commissioner of police. Do you understand? And when Mr. Hoketa was talking about that incident with the baby that died, I saw it. She was being interviewed. They were being interviewed by Ian Allen. They were young girl. It's their first child, a young little African couple, a young couple. She said that when she took in sick and she went to the hospital, imagine a pregnant woman, instead of you put her on a bed to lie down, they had her on a wheelchair for hours. And eventually, the baby came out in the pampers and died. You, the other thing, the donkey. They boasting about maternal thing and whatnot, and all the deaths of babies and things have been reduced. You haven't, in fact, officiated over the deaths of so much babies in this country that you should have been in jail too. Because all these things tantamount of criminal negligence. As the minister, just as what happened with the Paria armed drivers, all they should be charged for criminal negligence. Now, coming back to the Pan-Trinbago issue, Andy, you know why I say I'm bringing this as one of my main issues this morning? It hurt me to see yesterday that Randall William Mitchell beating up his chest and boasting about the national instrument and whatnot and whatnot, and the pride and the thing that the government has been doing and whatnot and whatnot. And as I said, it was Badri Pandey giving the land to open up a business that that they could expand the whole thing, a gas station, a hotel, another big, massive project. Come and give the pan men and them $1,000 and whatnot. Yesterday, the hypocrisy of Pan-Trinbago and all these people and them who voted out the UNC, they get nothing from PNM, all they get is kick. But the point I'm making to you is that Beverly Ramsey Moore signed with the government to give the land to the Ambani, the fellow from India and whatever. And you know the reputation of these people, these Asian countries, is big bribe. I am fooling myself to talk about this thing. But what is even worse about it, you give them a piece of, not a piece of land or nothing, you give them an old rundown building, which was the old post office on Rice Road. Lennox?
Yes, you're right.
You could tell me, what benefit that is for Pan-Trinbago headquarters. You cannot do nothing. You cannot open up a business as what Mapane had given them to open a gas station, a hotel, and many other things that they could have expanded into, and make it a big organization. But you gave them the old rundown post office, which had been closed down because of the condition of it. So tell me, ask you, Lennox, what is the status? Because they beat the chest and say, we're giving them this, and we're giving them that, and we're refurbishing the old post office in Brighton Road, and giving it to Pan-Trinbago. Lennox, could you tell me, when last you heard anything as it relates to the status of that building?
Well, I am not too far from there. There's nothing happening there. But that is just outside of the Hyatt car park, in fact, and on the old Dock Road. That is where that facility is located on Rising Road, and there's nothing happening there right now.
But that's what I'm telling you, Beverly Ramsey Moore. All you should hang all your head in shame.
So it may well be a farce.
You know, and Randall Mitchell, all you who want to talk about the national instrument and you know, talking about symbols and thing, and about Christopher Columbus and the colonial thing and this and that. Keith Rowley, you should remove your name as Christopher. You should take off the name Christopher from your name. Because all it symbolizes all you. That because right now what we've seen happening with you is you're colonializing the people again in this country. Because you're making the rich get richer. And all this kind of, and who dead, and all this kind of damn nonsense. What is really going on in this country? Citizens, I am begging all you. All you have to take stock of what it is going on in this country. Don't feel comforted, and let me tell you something, Lennox. Because that issue yesterday, I was really looking forward to that debate with the pension issue that was supposed to be discussed in the parliament yesterday. Well, apparently, they run late with that state of emergency. Which was really wasn't necessary. It was a waste of time. And I just say, like Camille Robinson Regis, with you, it's an exercise in fertility. Not futility, fertility. Because remember, it was stated that you took taxpayers' money and you went and you had fertility tests and all this kind of thing done to you. You understand? And when all you want to come and talk, just like Shamfa Kojo, rent room in and all kind of money spending all about. All you support everything. And this one of the biggest hypocrites that I see in this country is Penelope Beckles. And these people and them see both talking about Penelope Beckles. They sat down and give consent to everything Keith Rowley has done to destroy the lives of the people of this country. And people calling for Penelope Beckles and all of that. But because she's kind of quietly and humble and whatnot. But it's just as dangerous. When you're silent, you're very dangerous. So people in this country, I want all of you to understand, the only people who is standing up for true democracy in this country is the opposition UNC. Too late, the Law Association. You see Lennox Baran Street at all of them who defended this government. Lennox Baran Street when the Attorney General Reginald Armour went and lied in America and they banned him from performing it. When they ask you the question, you say, look, I can't talk about that now because my mother dead and whatnot and thing. But all you give consent and all you support Reginald Armour. So they look at what it is happening in this country. And you, the president of the Law Association, if all these people who comprises of the judiciary, who are responsible for the justice system of this country, they speak out then, we will not find ourselves in this crisis. We wouldn't. But you see, again, and as rightfully I would say this, there's no race with me. But Jagdev Singh, the attorney who made the statement that it's only the opposition UNC law attorneys is the one who challenging the government. Where are the others? Where are they, Lennox? It is not a race issue. It is because of these people have a concern for the country and where they see it going and who hands and who benefiting from this, who benefiting from the resources of this country. And yet still, my African people will still support PNM when you see they digging out your eye. I hope this election come in, all your eyes open. All your eyes open because all they talk about, you see, and then you hear this next witch, Ola Christopher, they're going after the big fishes, the big fish and what other thing. Which one of the big fish they have there now? In any of the detention center? Which one? They go and take down anybody, big business people, door and whatnot? All these contractors and all these people who are associated with the PNM. Will you hear anything about them? Any investigation, the banking sector, the Chamber of Commerce or any one of them? Then let me tell you something. People, just remember this. The only people who standing up for democracy and the preservation of the rights of
Thank you.
The Constitution is the UNC.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Tunapuna. Nice. He had a mouthful. He get his all his say. Let's continue. Oh boy.
I can briefly confirm that yes, the former commissioner said that Sanka is his cousin. Yes. He has not upset. He said that nothing else. Of course, he was doing that in defense of his argument that her circumstance must not be related to the advent of Stuart Young to be prime minister. And so he was making the point that it was despicable. It was unpolitical to do that. And of course, in the process, criticizing the UNC by way of reference or indirect inference that should not be part and parcel of the issue. But of course, the article went on to say that he was prepared, of course, to have an arrangement with the UNC for the local government election, and I dare say it's because of that the party has an alderman in the Romartin Corporation. Without that arrangement, I am certain that there could not have been an NTA alderman there, because the UNC would have contested there, and therefore they would have lost. If anybody had to have an alderman, would have been the UNC. But that's how the cookie crumbles. So that he has a chip on his shoulder against the UNC, against Kamala Persad-Bissessar. And he's, of course, when he was asked if he's going to go into a relationship with the PNM, he said that it's not a matter of relationship, but his party is prepared to go into a relationship with anyone once, of course, the party is respected. So that speaks for itself in terms of his, what I consider to be 360 degrees diametrically opposed position. Well, of course, he was rubbing shoulders with the UNC at one point in time.
Yeah, go ahead, caller.
Hey, Andy, morning.
Morning.
Lennox, morning. If according to Rowley, the police free any criminal and them, if you see bandits outside your house, it makes sense calling the police because they ain't gonna come. Correct?
Yeah.
They're not gonna come. Because they're afraid bandits. This man really know what he's talking about. And I want to tell Alvary something. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. He called God's name about 4 times yesterday in that parliament. And that fella, you know not about God. When he's taking all them recruiters and he come outside and he come back and get what he wants, he say, God thank you, or only thank you. Them fellas, boy, look, Andy, let me come up before I say what I want to say. Thanks for the call.
No problem. Next caller, morning caller, where you calling from? What's your contribution on the ground report this morning?
A pleasant good morning, Andy. Please take care of yourself with that flu. Get a lot of fluids in. Mr. Lennox, Mikey K.
Hey. Good morning.
Director, by extension, our Gael family, Workers Platform, and all on the live stream. Let me start this morning by saying thank you to our honorable political leader for her brilliant presentation on the SOE proclamation in the 13th sitting of the Parliament in the House of Representatives yesterday. Great job. Today, I want to remind each and everyone that today, Tuesday 14th, 2025, our pavement report will be held at the DB High School, M2 Ring Road, DB. Time, 7 p.m. Our lineup of speakers will be Dr. Rudal Molilal, MP Saddam Hussein, MP Barry Padarat, MP Michelle Benjamin, Councillor John Michael Alibukas, PDRC Chairman Gautan Maraj. The meeting will also be live streamed We want to live better. Yellow is the code. And have a blessed day, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Same to you, my dear.
All right, let's get it.
So the UNC continues, of course, to do what they have to do. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning to you, Miss Woodbrook. Oh, Mommy Woodbrook.
Yes, darling. I tuned in a little late this morning. I went up the road. But, so I don't know if anybody spoke about it anyway. I was looking at the interview when they were interviewing the MPs, the PNM MPs. When they decided to talk. Because you may remember when they tried to interview them, they were so disrespectful. They walk over the reporter and they didn't say a word. But apparently, when they came out, I think it must be Saturday, Rowley gave them permission to talk. At least he told them, everybody could go out and only could say something. And I am watching these people, Andy and Lennox, and I am wondering if the people in this country, remembering what these people, these PNM MPs, these gangsters, what they did to this country for the past 9.5 years, they must never ever forget, They're talking about Rowley. Don't think that it was Rowley mash up the country. It was all of them, you understand? And when you ask them a question, these people coming out with a straight face and they're smiling, all is well, we are a disciplined party, everything is going good. But the thing is this, as I am looking at it, gentlemen, you see this dangerous, deadly PNM. I heard Stephen Reese saying yesterday, and I was so mad that PNM, PNM PNM election machinery is the best in the world, and it's not to be underestimated. You understand? That was what Stephen Reese was saying on the show after the ground report. I look at his show. Why it is people in this country giving so much power to these PNM gangsters? Why the people in this country, even they know who they are and they know what they give, why the people cannot say, not this time? The past 2 elections, or they came up with the Calcutta ship, and the stupid people believed the lies and they panic and they went and vote PNM. The second one, or they tell them about all their bananas because they think all they is monkeys. Or they believe the lies and all they run things. Because I know people personally who panic when they hear about the bananas and they went and they voted for PNM. Now this election, PNM, as they said, they know very well, not in hell, PNM could win an election. They know it. But guess what? You think they know it and they deciding to go out? No, they're planning, they're organizing this pit, the best village pit, to see how they can get along again, to lie to the people, fooling the people, and most important of all, make the people forget. They want the people to forget all that PNM did to this country and to the people for the past 9 years. You understand? And you know Trinidadians how they stupid. Yeah, and not, at least not all. You understand? But people must never ever forget what they did to this country for the past 10 years. You understand? So people, just be sensible. Do not fall for PNM lies. PNM is so strong and powerful as they can, because you know why or I should say, you know why they appear to be so strong and powerful and things? Because the people allow them. The people make them feel they're so great. They're so strong. They know how to win elections. So what happens? Everybody in this country have sense. All you recognize what they are doing. And when they come with a plan, all you all have another plan to destroy their plan. You understand? Because right now, you see PNM, they're fighting to win an election. And what I think is the plan this year? We could tell them Rowley going. Rowley ain't going no damn way. We could tell them Stuart Young is the leader. He ain't no leader. You understand? It's a play for all these feelings. And then feeling, you know, let me tell all the people who want to live better and who supporting the PNM, who supporting the PNC. All you have to recognize that all you have to fight every day, all you have to determine, all you have to recognize the role and their life And every time they come with something, all you have to make sure, like when in the Middle East, when they're sending them missiles, I think it is, and then they have the ones who could hit it and destroy it before it reaches, all you have to wait to hit all them live PNM coming up with before it reaches the ground. Do not fall for their lies, you understand? Do not cry and listen to them talking to some of these people. And to tell you how these people are dangerous, and we have a task on our hands. CNC3, I am watching the news, and they have a segment tongue say, these people interview a lot of people, but you know the ones they put on the program? Everyone, as Santa Cruz said, every notice one that coming up and talking against who supporting PNM, they're so good and give him a chance, and he's a new face, it's a new beginning. All of them are the ones they put on the program. So you look at it, all of them, the 1%, the media, everybody defending PNM and trying to, as they say, big up the PNM, are talking because I want people to recognize and realize what is PNM plan. They have what is PNM plan. They always have a plan. This is they had a plan with the catfish and the bananas. But people, let them know. We let them know. We know all your plan. We know what all you're doing. And this time, it ain't going to work because you know why? We not all you can't lie because people have know what is going on. All you can't come and tell me all you perform for the past 9 years because we know what it is went on. And imagine we reach what must be 12 days or 13 days in the year. And we have, look at murders already. The people in this country, they are going to allow that. Hello?
Yeah, we hear you.
Go ahead. We hear you loud and clear. Go ahead.
Yes, Andy. People in this country have to be serious. Look at the amount of you. It is about the 12 or the 14, whatever it is. We have something like 12 murders already. The year now starts. The people going to sit down again and let by time August return is election. How much murders we going to have? 500? All year? Wake up, is lives is trying to save, is a country trying to save, it is serious. PLM don't tell they can bring Stuart Young, they can bring Penelope, they can bring whoever the hell. All you stop being distracted. This is PLM plan. Everybody forget about the destruction. They forget about the murders. They forget about the suffering. They forget about the home invasion. They forget about everything. They forget about the 3 billion that's missing. All the money that embedded people are left. They forget about that. And everybody is really going and they still don't see leader. And they don't want the leader. That's the conversation now that's going on. That is what PLM planning to do. Everybody is only still young and Rowley going on a new PLM and a new this and this. That is not important. All you remember all that PLM did to this country and remember that they have to go. Don't let the plan work this time. Don't let it. It can have no new PLM. It can have no new leader. It's the same old. People, we are the ones that have to make this country better. And we cannot make the country better when we keep focusing on PLM plan. Don't bother with the PLM by the first step. You understand? You will tell me personal officers, alert, they're coming to the life and danger. The same should start back from early the first month, the first 2 weeks in the new year. And it's the same thing going on over and over. All of them lawyers and all of them who are custom getting them criminal bail. Everybody panicking now because they're killing them. You understand? Look what it is going on. It starts off with a bang. And all the issues, all the headline is Rowley going and Stuart want to take it over. And we don't want Stuart. We want Penelope. And we don't want Penelope. We want Emily Brown. All here. What we want is better. And the one and only way we can live better is for PNM to go. All must go because we want to live better. You know, enough is enough. And all of them PNM is the same damn thing. People, all they wake up. Don't let them fool all you. We want to live better and we will live better. And the only way we can do that is to get rid of the PNM and put all your business on all you know, because we are going to vote for the United National Congress led by the one and only beautiful, good woman, a good citizen, Kamala Prasad Desesa. People, stop being fools, stop being distracted, wake up, know what is PNM plan, and all you make sure, all you mash it up, You understand? Because we have to live better. Blessings to all.
Wow.
Thank you very much,
Well,
Colin.
Miss
Thank you.
Miss Woodbrook, go to the tippy top of the class, man. That is the assessment. That is the disillusionment that we must engage in order for people to understand the reality of the circumstance. It's all about theatrics. It's all about histrionics. It's all about trying to, of course, develop a front that is designed to deceive and to get an unfair advantage. And of course, they ain't finished there. Quite apart from the optics, they are engaged, of course, in trying to subvert institutions such as the EBC, for which we must also have a counter plan as we speak. Go ahead, caller.
Good morning, Professor Andy, Associate Professor Lennox, and Associate Professor Mighty K. Morning.
Good morning.
Yet last night on the TV6 News, I was amazed by a fella they called Gigi. Apparently he has folk tongues. 2-3 days ago in the newspaper, he say Smallpin was the man who was responsible for him being removed as the COP. Last night on TV6, Gigi praising Smallpin. So you have to understand his modus operandi. He really is an appendage of the PNM. Don't make him fool all year that he want alliances. He is neighbor string apparently bury that, because all of a sudden he say he is a relative of the stepdaughter of who they raided in Westmoreland, and he was the police. He say he's a relative of that young lady. No. If you all go back to the newspaper article on that, and this GG, former COP, has to tell us who was the person, the suspect, who drove away in the black BMW. He has to answer that question pronto. Today, I want to know who is that person who drove away when they went and arrested the daughter. I want to know who drove away in that BMW, and was he complicit in his policing, allowing that person to get away, if that person is culpable also. The other thing I want to talk about, the FAB in the PNM has showed the hand, They didn't support a lady, but they get the next best thing to a lady, and I say no more, because they have always been vociferous. You mean they couldn't push for a lady to be the leader of the PNM? And if they show their hands that they disrespect lady and they don't trust any ladies, well, at least they're trusting somebody who might be in the middle of being one or the other. I say no more. And the last of all the issues is the one that this man is running away from. Why is KCR running? Is Mondelo, is the man him coming back reincarnated to have something against them? All of the close associates with Maduro, who have 25 million on his head, will friends, family, and good friends will also be afforded that by Trump. All good friends who are closely aligned with Maduro, will they have sanction on the person, the family also. So I only thinking, speculating, that might be a possibility. And people, let me remind you all, the folk tongue man they call Gigi, watch him closely. I'm going to have a nice morning.
Thank you very much, caller. Morning.
Andy, President, good morning to you, Mighty K, and Lennox Smith, wherever Mighty K is, I pray that all is well with you, my brother. Andy, they say on the news this morning that Terrence Yeltsin was admitted to the Mount Hope Hospital, right? And I'm saying to you, Terrence Yeltsin, and all the PNMI, I said it before, one gone, one more to go, I don't know who it is. But they should put him outside in that tent for 4 days and don't give him no water, lay number 2 on himself and pee down himself and everything. Because he too damn nasty to the people of this country, taking the taxpayers' money and giving you the worst treatment in all hospitals and health centers and all medical facilities that belong to the government of this country, not the government of the public. Andy, I ain't wish him well at all, and he should remain right there because he's too damn nasty. Secondly, Andy, could you just time Mr. Tunapuna? All what he's saying, we know it and thing. So very little we don't know, but at least give him a shorter time now for me, please. All that we want to talk. All right, Andy, thank you very much, and I'll have a nice day.
All right, thank you very much, caller. Oh boy, let me play some voice notes there. Needed voice
notes. Andy is a bit under the weather. His voice is a challenge, so you would appreciate that we will, act a little different this morning, so that we gave a certain amount of leeway this morning. Notice Miss Woodbrook also got all the time that she would have desired, but of course, under normal circumstance, there will be, of course, a curtailment. So bear with us as we continue, of course, with the program. Andy is now, of course, referencing those voicemails. Let's hear what you have to offer on this morning's program.
Good morning, Andy. Dr. Rowley has turned TNT into a failed state, a sole country. Imagine him coming to the Parliament for an extension of the state of emergency to tackle crime and accusing the police of hiding in their police stations. I want to tell Dr. Rowley, it's you and your PNM government that's been hiding from the criminals for the last 10 years, that you've been in power by putting failures such as Keith Scotland, Fitzgerald Hines, Erla Harewood, and Stuart Young. Yes, the same Stuart Young that you are promoting as the next Prime Minister of TNT, you and your failed PNM government has to go. So you can take your failed state of emergency and put it where the monkey put the nuts, Dr. Rowley. It has failed to stop the criminals you bred for the last 10 years to halt. They're killing ways in TNT. Let's be safe out there today, people, and remember, tell everyone you meet that yellow in the UNC is the code.
All right. Oh boy. I'm going to continue this.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, Andy. What I was designed to do is to panic the population into some sense of urgency. The usual, of course, histrionics and theatrics of Dr. Rowley, all those antics that he would generate, and the usual body language and pretending, of course, to be authoritative. That is the pile of hogwash he talking. Hogwash.
Good morning, Andy, Lennox, Mikey, and the people at Trinidad and Tobago. Andy, although you and Lennox are saying, don't put nothing behind the other thing. There's a virus circulating in China right now. When he got there and started going to hospital for bronchitis, next thing, they said the virus reached Trinidad. And they had to this and they had to lock down and they had to this and they had to that. Don't study that man there, working with the people and them where the Prime Minister and he want to come. Is locked down, they want to put on Trinidad and Tobago again because like they ain't getting their way much as they're supposed to with the people. The job they give before ain't kill enough, so they come in with something else now to finish kill the rest. So let me watch them because they, anytime them say something, it come to fruition, boy. Watch them help people there. They come in with something else. If I don't believe me, wait and watch it come in. Because that is where they go in the scheme. If one of them go in the hospital, they go tell me, well, the Minister of Health went to the hospital, this, that, the other. And then they go come with something now to frighten the nation because it's election time. So let me watch them and watch their tricks. They have one more than a monkey. We know them and we're supposed to watch them and listen to how they just talk. And we know that they're out for something. So people in Trinidad and Tobago, open all your ears and watch these people with all your eyes because they come in with something else. Don't say I didn't say that.
Yeah.
Andy.
I don't
Yeah,
know
wait,
how long-
Maraboni have a next one. Maraboni have a next one. Tobago
Yeah,
in
go
the
ahead.
house.
Andy, you have people in Trinidad offering people in Tobago thousands of dollars to vote against Farley. They are telling them who they are, but they just be on your program, with fake profiles. And they're offering people in Tobago money to vote against Farley and them. So I'm telling all what's going on in Tobago and how they're missing the opportunity to get rich and all these other things they're telling them. They could give them money to do this and they could give them money. The country crying out, people poor and hungry. But all the people and them in Trinidad, all the sicko fans and all the people and the financiers could be calling people and telling them what they could offer them to go against bloody election, go against Farley. But that and that pink donkey, they would not see because Tobagonians watching the every move and we're seeing what they're doing. So when we got to beat them, we're beating them like if we're going mad because it wouldn't have no recount. The licks gonna be so much.
That is what we expect in Trinidad as well. For the all 39 seats in favor of the UNC and whatever configuration for the purposes of the elections.
Morning, Andy, Lennox, and Mikey. Andy, I watched that clip and I listened to him speak a little bit yesterday. Is that Prime Minister a jackass, or a garaha, or a donkey, or a monkey? Which one he is? The guy is a buffoon. The guy is in charge of the police and everything, and he's blaming the police. He selected the plate, like a fellow will say there. He's the chef, but he don't have the power to select the grocery to cook the food, and he is the chef. I mean, if you are the chef, you have the power to select the food. You are the prime minister, and you complain about the police who handpick the commissioner of police, handpick everything, and then come here and blame him. I mean, this guy is a real idiot. This guy is a buffoon. Even supporters for the state, this guy is a monkey. He need to shoot down that monkey on the street politically. This guy is a monkey. You pick the cricket team and then after the cricket team fail and everything is dying. And you telling me you blame the cricketers? Just like the sports team up here. The first thing they fire the manager because the manager not do the right thing, and also who picks select the players. They fire them immediately. I mean, this guy is a buffoon. Oh my God, the parents supposed to listen to this crap of white man. This man like he's swallow crap and he's stick in his belly. That's really bad.
With the people, the job they give before,
Rowley confirmed there is no bright Africans in the PNM party.
Pleasant good morning, Andy Lennox. Well, the only thing I have to say now, what concerning to me, what's the big concern now is what about all them babies that pass away? All them babies in the hospital? Nothing come out of that? Nobody ain't saying nothing? Huh? Nobody ain't visiting these parents and that? Nothing, and the next thing on the carpet. Right? I keep saying this government ain't know what to do again. They're just destroying this country every day. Alright, Lennox Smith. Talk to you later, my brother. Alright, blessings everyone.
Apart from the
Lennox, you really live in La La Land. If you don't really believe that dotish talk, you just talk about UNC will win 39 seats. You really have to be living in La La Land or you're an imbecile or some kind of idiot. I wish you luck with that dotishness. You were the same man in 2020. I recall you saying that the first quarter, at the end of the first quarter, the PNM will call a new election. Lennox, we in 2025 now, we're still waiting.
but I suppose he didn't.
No, Gary, you have a fork tongue now.
He wasn't
When all
about
was
Tobago.
China coercing. Funny how all it, no, Gary, you have a fork tongue now. When all it was China coercing, to join up with the UNC. He was the best thing since sliced bread. How all of a sudden now, no, you have a fork tongue. I tell you, all that's sort of deceitful hypocrites.
Morning, nobody. As that lady talked about the situation in the hospital with the baby and all of that, I want to give a piece of advice, more or less our opinion. If you have a medical situation, avoid the Arima Hospital. I'll tell you why. They've opened it, the brand new one, but for whatever reason, with all the hoopla they had about it, the casualty is in the old hospital. So the new hospital is there with all of the facilities to treat, but the casualty and the triage is in the old hospital. And what you end up happening is they'll see you in casualty, and depending if you need further treatment or you need to be warded, you have to be taken to the new hospital, just like the good old days. That's what that Arima Hospital used to do. If you need significant treatment, they'll send you to Mount Hope. It still exists. The only difference now is, they'll send it to Mount Hope, but they'll also send it to the new hospital. But here's the problem. The ambulances are either insufficient or whatever the reason is, no driver, all manner of foolishness. People will end up, and I've heard this from enough people, will end up having waiting a whole day just to get moved and get significant treatment. I know a stroke case recently. They arrive casualty. To treat a stroke, time is important. There's something called the golden hour, where it's best for the person's recovery if they can give them thrombolytics. These are drugs that will break up any clots, right? Early as possible. But you first have to do a brain scan, to make sure it's a blockage rather than a bleed. And you know what happens? The CAT scan is in the new hospital. So here's the thing, it's about 100 to 200 meters away. There are human beings on this planet that can cover 100 meters in less than 10 seconds, but because they don't have no ambulance in this absolutely ridiculous situation, people have to wait sometimes a whole day to travel 100 meters. And you cannot do it with your own car. It has to be done via the ambulance, their service. So if I were you, people, if you can, this is not official advice, but if you, in your situation, if you can go to Mount Hope, go to Mount Hope. As bad as Mount Hope is, that is what is going to happen to you anyway. And the sad thing is that hospital, I think it was the partnership who began the project. So this is 10 years ago plus. But the PNM stopped it, investigated it, and claimed and insisted that they can do it cheaper. And they made a big hoopla about doing it for less. But you see, you get what you pay for. Why not just put the casualty in the new hospital? And they've done this at other projects. The highway, for example, the Southern Highway, they say they can do it for cheaper, and they build a section and the road collapse. So, oh boy. Nobody here again. So that rant I just gave about the health service. Here's the thing, people. Here it is, myself included, and all of y'all are complaining and debating and discussing the health service and its efficiency on the radio. This sort of debate should occur in Parliament. The problem is, this is a constitutional problem again. If the Prime Minister does not want a particular debate in the Parliament, he can stop it by simply instructing the Speaker of the House not to allow the topic. So this is another example of the need for constitutional change. I firmly believe if you can get many smaller parties directly representing the interests of the different groups in society. So if you're a farmer, for example, you should have representation in there. Once your party can get the number of votes. If you're a teacher and so on and so forth. If you end up with several smaller parties in the parliament, accountability and oversight, which is a function, which is the second, well, parliament only has three functions: debate, write law, oversight. That oversight piece will be taken care of because somebody would end up speaking up about these kind of issues. It's more likely. And the speaker would not be captured by any prime minister.
Mr. Nobody, you was going good until you start with that dotishness about who built the hospital. The UNC just turned the sun a couple months, about a month before the elections, right? They just turned the sun. So it had nothing, they had no financing in place. So don't go there. As I said, it was going good from the beginning concerning the stroke and the treatment of patients, but don't go there with that dotishness, right? The PNM built the ARIMA and the Point Fortin Hospital from scratch. All the UNC did was turn the sun with no financing, nothing in place. So again, back in your crease, stick to know what you know.
Andy Mighty K. Lennox, Metro and Tobago Central here. Good morning. Andy, I was looking at the parliament, what it had last night there. And the Speaker of the House is a very unfair woman. She is very, very unfair, just like the PNM. You hear? Chinbega and whoever watched that last night was sure to get upset last night. Trinbagonians, all you see the level of unfairness in front of all your eyesight. Why every time when the opposition stand up to speak about pertaining towards the same thing that they do in the debate for, why is always a kind of get up and a stop and a say change the topic and where's all that? What is that we call raw fight down? But therefore you're leaving the government to speak as much as they want. I tell you, there is no parliament, you know. That is a comedian house. Just paint red. You understand, Trinbagonians? But all you see is wicked, empty-headed ministers and government that cannot serve a country. You see the behavior, Trinbagonians? You see all you see the styling? Everything for them is a kiki and a kaka. Eh? And they can't do the work. That is the sad part, you know. They're laughing as much as they can laugh, but they cannot complete what it is they're saying. They cannot do what it is they're saying. The mouth, they just have a mouth in the face, a hole, so they're just speaking. You understand what I'm saying? 9 years and nothing to show it, going into 10 years. But all the boasting, what? The opposition and them saying they want an election. Madam Speaker, the election will call, you know. We don't want it on all the timing. We want it in we timing. You understand what we're saying? And they're talking about, oh, they go get left, right, center, east, west, north, and south. Okay, then. We shall see when that date call. Because you're all own supporters. Your all own supporters is speaking about you all to the highest level. You understand? So the longer it take, it's better. More coming on board. So continue refusing to call a date and time for a general election in this country. Trinbagonians, all you see the level of unfairness where it start from. All you don't know where is the code. All you don't know what to do already. And I will say it again. PNM done dead, waiting to be buried, rotten and forgotten. PNM nothing. And yellow is the code. All the way. And is that.
Look, Rowlaya, best man, Young Lee. Best man, them alone going all over the place. I never see a woman go with them yet. Only them going here, there, and everywhere. The best men on politics, boy. You see how when you have a bestie, how you just fix them nice? Look how you fix them nice. Imagine no red couch PNM woman made the grade for Raul. I had to fix them like that. Wow, but the best man who know about Zambian, wish he could have been one. Know about get fixed real nice. It's nice to fix your men too. So we understand how it is. Fix them nice. You put them to rule the country now. No red couch people make the grade. They were just there to be used. Shame on all of them. Shame, shame, shame. To hell with all you. PNM, go to hell.
Again, this loud mouth, one from Central who does shoplift. You show that you don't have a clue what goes on in Parliament. The UNC MPs keep repeating the same thing people who had gone before was repeating, and that is all the speaker was saying, tedious reputation. You know what I mean? Tedious reputation, because it's the same thing they keep repeating over and over. And every time she correct them, next 2 minutes or so, they go on again. Tedious reputation. Look up that, go in our library and look up that instead of going in our grocery and shoplifting, Miss Central.
Andy, good morning again to you, Lennox, Mikey, and to everybody. Hey, car park attendant, you should practice what you're preaching. Stick to what you know. You don't know nothing. UNC started the groundwork on both hospitals. There was financing already there. But I guess they thief it out to Bill Bally's house. So they didn't send you that memo. Right? A lot of groundwork was done. Because you can't just build on the surface so. Right? A lot of groundwork was done for the Point Fortin and the Arima Hospital. So you bat in your crease and mind your business. Drink your water and mind your business. Stop lying. Remember, when you come here with lies, we will come here with facts. We will come here with facts to teach you a lesson. Because apparently they're sending you out there without giving you enough information. And if you figure by coming and saying all these things, people will listen to you. No. Stop the lying. Stop it. There was financing available for both hospitals. And they started the groundwork. Don't try that with me. Don't try it. Thanks a lot, Andy.
Lennox, you one thing. When my Santa Cruz make me laugh, did my head hurting, man. I ain't feeling too good, you know. But your mic, something wrong. We ain't hearing you, boy. I ain't hearing you.
I said play that clip one time while I said play.
Play the clip.
I said that clip play it one time.
The clip is...
After Miss Santa Cruz.
Alright. After Miss Santa Cruz. It's not opening.
They opening?
No.
Oh boy.
You know.
If
I send a video, is that video?
Yeah, but it's audio.
Oh well, nah, it's not opening. Well, oh God, send it over and send it. Hey, look. It look like it go open here. Yes, now.
Right.
Ah boy, it's not working.
Alright, let me
Yeah, get it for me in that better way. Oh boy, car park attendant. Oh my God.
Alright, wait. I think
yes.
You should be able to hear it from here, you know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, let me try it and see.
Yeah, Mikey, don't worry. When you order, I go flip you on.
For military vessels, for all sorts of things. Billions. Arima Hospital, 1.8 billion. Kuva Hospital, 1.5 billion. Point Fortin Hospital, 1.6 billion. So when I come into government, I need a whole set of loan arrangements for hospitals, for military vessels, for all sorts of things. Billions. Arima Hospital, 1.8 billion. Kuva Hospital, 1.5 billion. Point Fortin Hospital, 1.6 billion. So I come in the government. I need a whole set of loan arrangements for hospitals, for military vessels, for all sorts of things. Billions. Arima Hospital, 1.8 billion. Kuva Hospital, 1.5 billion. Point Fortin Hospital, 1.6 billion. Billions. Arima Hospital, 1.8 billion. Billions. Arima Hospital, 1.8 billion. Billions.
Right, so what they did there, is you battled down Port of Spain.
Point Fortin Hospital, 1.6 billion. Point Fortin Hospital, 1.6 billion.
Go ahead, my friend. Go ahead now. We don't have to talk again.
Yeah, well, that is Colin Burt himself saying they meet 1 point something billion for the Arima Hospital. Point Fortin Hospital, he said the meet in loans 1 point something billion. So it always had the finance. They always had the finance.
Francis was always there. That is why the sun was turned. This nincompoop. Let him say it's not Imbird voice now. Don't be surprised if he calls himself an ass and say that that is not Imbird's voice. Go ahead.
Now,
let's continue.
Now, what you did there is you make Port of Spain, you put him in short pants, you make him a little boy, a little liar, and that his agenda is just to destroy this country and defend the PNM with any means necessary.
I'm not going to talk to him again because it's clear as a teacher, there are those who, of course, are so bent in their ways that they would never change. Something like some persons who are bent at doing crime and criminality, such as, of course, his leader.
Yeah. Oh boy. Mikey has your thing. I ain't put you on yet, so don't worry. When I see you settled, then I go just click you on. So nobody ain't seen you trying to get on there. Alright, let me just continue the earlier. Morning.
Hello.
Yeah, caller, morning. Wait.
Hi,
oh, nobody?
Morning, nobody here. Yes.
For the Spain, it's your hard day, boy.
No, Port of Spain did what he normally does. He gives people facts. Facks.
Oh, God.
I give you facts. Facts. So go, people, Google office of the odpm.gov.tt and you'll see there on their own website, and I quote, in his feature address, Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Keith Rowley and his delivery of the project in keeping with the government mandate to provide health care across the country, executed under a government-to-government arrangement between Trinidad and Tobago and the People's Republic of China. Yeah. The project was completed for an estimated 200 million less than was budgeted under the previous administration. So what that is saying there, and like I was saying, they were bragging and boasting that they did it for less. Right here, it's saying 200 million less. But my point is, you get what you pay for. And in this case, what you paid for is a hospital without a casualty department. And because of that, you will have horrible service because the casualty, you would be in casualty whole day waiting for ambulance to carry you 100 meters. When Usain Bolt could put you on your back, on his back, and run it in 10 seconds. Right? That's my point. But chaps like Port of Spain, I don't like to get into the mudslinging, but I mean, your slip is showing. Your slip is showing.
Mr. Nobody, go to the top of the class. Similar argument for the crop exchange or interchange.
Yes.
Similar argument. Similar.
And for
yes, and argue for political self-aggrandizement, when in fact, what you have done is, of course, produce something of inferiority. Just as the swimming pools for Laventil said that he reduced it from 25 million to 5 million, and these nincompoops will say it's the same swimming pool. Come on, man. Come on.
And the Southern Highway, right? They again announced it for less, and they built a section, it collapsed. And the partnership bought, well, my pet peeve, 12 brand new Damon vessels. Best in the world, don't believe me, CX technology. and you park them up for political reasons and say, look, we're going to buy 2 Cape class vessels. You know what the Australian Navy do? They ban the Cape class that they have from operating in Sea State 5, which is exactly the conditions we have off our East Coast. And the Prime Minister said he bought those vessels specifically to patrol the East Coast because we have no vessels to patrol the rough waters. So it's good when these things happen. You must embrace Port of Spain more. I think he's doing a good job.
He brings the best out of us. He brings the best out of us because I mean, a near the well like him, totally out of his league. You're a car park technician. Stay there. Do not come into the intellectual class and believe somehow that you will be accommodated without challenge.
All right, Olia, thanks so much. Mikey, a pleasant good morning to you.
Before that, just Andy.
The whole set of loan arrangements for hospitals, for military vessels, for all sorts of things. Billions. Arima Hospital, 1.8 billion. Kuva Hospital, 1.5 billion. Point 14 Hospital, 1.6 billion. Vessels coming from Holland, 1.3 billion.
Yes, good morning, Mikey.
Good morning. It's loud and clear?
Loud and clear, my friend. Loud and clear.
Hey, good morning to you.
Just by your absence, man. But go ahead.
Right. Hey, good morning to you, Andy, my brother Pitbull Williams. Morning to you, Lennox Smith. And good morning to our technical director. And of course, to our Gael family, our CARICOM brothers across the region, wherever you are, good morning to you. And of course, Sister Al Tobago, good morning. And at Diaspora, wherever you are in the UK, North America, good morning as well. Yes, folks. Yeah, a lot is going on. I was listening to that recording there, Lennox, quite interesting. I think it debunks a lot that is being said and bandied about.
Talk again, man. I feel to numbskulls. So we need to prove it instantaneously. Yeah.
I agree 100%. According to an update here on a story in the newspaper, Rowley chastises Kamala on murders. Says if I am to blame for 5,000, you're to blame for 2,435. That's what he's saying. He said not because the government has called a state of emergency that the planning and execution of murders will end. Quite interesting. They debated that, of course, yesterday. Rowley said the opposition leader said that since he was in office, he was responsible for 5,000 deaths. But if one takes that statement logically, then I would say that the member for Sapara is responsible for 2,535 deaths. He said the opposition leaders claimed that if the SOE had been declared sooner, lives would have been saved, was mere conjecture. Nobody knows what life would have been saved. And when you look at the numbers, the SOE of 2011 did not put an end to the behavior of criminals. What was the difference? Big difference.
So the difference is that he has admitted failure. That is what has happened, and that he implemented a measure that if it was any stretch of the imagination, I studied this man and his illogical nonsensicality, his cacophonous babblings. The fact of the matter is that if it was implemented in January, then there would have been, of course, a shorter amount, or should I say less amount of murders at the end of the year. But you implemented at the end of the year. At the end of the year, which of course almost concluded the amount, and it was close to another record, the highest record of murders in the country. Rowley is trying to play smart with foolishness, and we are not going to go in for that. Let's prove what we have to say irrefutably.
Yeah, I mean, quite interesting. I mean, using this issue as a political football to gain some political traction. He said there was a strong feeling that the rules and the laws were not sufficiently rigorous to treat with the harshness and the cruelty of the criminals, who believe they can engage law enforcement officers in shootouts, and sometimes they kill them, which is the law officers he's talking about. It has come to my attention in some districts, this is where it gets rather interesting. It has come to my attention in some districts in some instances, police officers whose job it is to protect us and secure us, in some districts at night are so afraid of the criminals that they close the police station door, turn off the lights, and be inside there hoping that the criminals don't come at them. That happens. It is not supposed to happen. And the criminals come in front of the police station when citizens identifying themselves as lawbreakers choose their place of attack to be in front of a major police station inside the city and to carry out an attack using the most sophisticated killing weapons. It tells you that they have no regard for law enforcement in our society, and they benefit from the fact that the law is as protective of them as they are not protective of us. Rather
Boy, that man
interesting.
mad, boy, Mikey, boy.
Yeah, I believe so, Andy. I really and truly believe so. I mean, first of all, why would you come at this critical point to demoralize the efforts or those officers who put their lives on the line every day? They're the ones who are there with you when you're escorted in your blue flashy lights. They're the ones who are willing to jump in front of anyone, any assailant, in order to protect you. We don't have that on 24/7. You have that around the clock. These are the people that you simply offered 4% to. 4% devaluing their work and their effort and the fact that they put their lives on the line, as I mentioned, on a daily basis with the hope and prayed that they can get back to their families after their shift is over. You didn't give them much. They're calling out for resources. They call out for resources so much that you take a man who believed that we should be with coal pot and bicycle. You put him in there to function in that capacity as junior security minister to ensure that they get the resources. You put a man there who that's his job. But he turned around having to go on tours of the borough and all of that madness. He was to ensure, listen, Erla, what you want? What you want, Erla? The reality is you cannot fight crime with Bibles. We have to arm the police with guns. We can't give them that. When it is that they are ducking and running from the criminals, according to Dr. Rowley, because of the sophisticated weapons, the police can't just pull out the book and read a psalm, and that is the end of it. That's not the reality. These officers need resources. These officers are putting their lives on the line. And to come now to look for kinks in their armor, to look and give the perception that they're nothing but cowards when the night comes, that they close up the police station door. Were you offering them? What you giving them? This man has no kind of, really and truly, seriously.
Mikey, what you do there? You know what you do there? He actually emboldened the criminals now when they sit down smoking the weed, drinking the punching. Yeah. Police on them, hiding inside them. That we do there.
Even Rowley know they could hear them on the right. But right now, under the order, even Rowley know them fellas and them scared of we. Imagine that. Even Rowley know them police and them, but them police scared. Imagine that lock the door and all kind of under the order. We had to take some heads tonight. Skin the head back to the white meat. Bodies go out to drop because the police and them afraid we boy. And that is what he did. He gave them that narrative.
More teardrops.
More teardrops. Because you want to use crime. You want to use murder to gain political traction. What is wrong with you? Well, if 5,000 die with me, 2,000 die with you. Little boy politics.
Cruel, infantile, dotish, obscene. There's no real adjective to describe that level of dotishness. And it's not for the first time. Because when, of course, the issue of Al-Rawi's children came up, he went on to say, not only were they Al-Rawi's children that were holding, of course, these high-powered rifles, but he don't want those people who he assumed then made that particular video go viral. He was assuming it was the army. He said he don't want them. If that's how they operated, he don't want to be protected by them. Throw them under the bus in two ways. So it's not the first time, only for political traction, that ultimately turns out to be spitting in the sky and falling in his face. It always collapses. Always. So the population is fully aware of the shenanigans of Dr. Rowley.
Yeah, and before we go to the lines, Andy, I know that we're going to open up the lines. A good morning to everyone again. Rowley went on to say that the police was saying that one of the problems they had was the speed of the revolving door, where a person who is identified as having committed an offense can get back to his business as quickly as the ink can be dried. I don't want to talk about any specific instance here because it is all before the court, but I must say that even in the management of this situation, where we get news of certain findings of the police, certain threats identified by persons who have in fact chosen law breaking, I'm amazed that in a state of emergency, bail is still so easily available to people who in fact the problem in this violent criminal society in this crime wave. Yeah, they're the fact. But listen, you don't want to fix anything. Stop playing. You don't want to fix it. You don't want to fix it so much that you want to bring in our next man to replace you because you fail. You're telling us in a very subtle thing with all the buff and the buff and the threaten, you threaten, all you better rally around this man, This good living all you been getting. I will call the elections, If all you know what good for you, this is the man I want. And they all the business. All right? But it still remain, gentlemen, that this man is talking about he find the revolving door, men coming back out quickly and what have you. If you wanted to fix this, Jagdeo Singh, attorney at law Jagdeo Singh, made it so simple. He made it public. He didn't hide it from you. It was the problem with you is the messenger. The problem with you is where the message was said. It was a UNC, a UNC town hall meeting in Arangwes. Just the thing UNC, you have a problem. You can't sleep at night. Any good idea, but once it's at UNC, you not taking that. Anything that could save the lives of citizens, but because it have a UNC brand, you don't think it's worth looking at. Anything that can help elevate the lives of the people in this country, but you see that UNC, you have a problem with that. Yeah. Kamala this, Kamala that, but Kamala ain't running, you running. And everything that Kamala present that you know could do something for us, you don't want to look at it. Jagdeo Singh said, put the bracelets on them. If they're out on bail, Dr. Rowley, you will be able to track them. So when you see 10 bracelets gather, you know that is not a Bible study group. You know there's a bunch of criminals who have gathered to, of course, go out there and cause chaos in our society. You know that. So you just can't go and implement the bracelet, the electronic bracelet. You just waving the white flag and bringing in a next man who is just as incompetent as you because everything he learned in politics, he learned it from you. It's you he learned it from. So if he arrogant, it's because of you. If you have an attitude, it's because of you. If you have a problem with people, it's because of you. And if he's a failure, it's because of you. Jagdeo Singh, he said implement the bracelets. If you really have a problem with the fact that these people going in and out before the ink dry, but put the bracelets on them, Rowley. And who we have on the outside? Madness. Total madness.
What's hilarious and laughable is that he don't mind, of course, they going to a station and sign a book. And on the way or outside the station, he don't mind that. But he will not implement the bracelet. And of course, I think the man is totally out of it all entirely. I mean, he has gone mad. He definitely has gone mad.
Yeah. Definitely has gone
Morning,
mad.
caller. Move on from the noise.
Hi.
Yeah, morning.
Hi, good morning again. Good morning again. Andy, I had to call back after Mikey read that. I had to. We heard when Keith Rowley was opposition leader, he bolted every crime to Mrs. Prasad Bissa's chest. He bolted every rape, every murder, where we didn't have home invasions like we have it now, right? And extortion and all those kind. He bolted every single thing that happened to Mrs. Prasad Bissa's chest. But you see, Keith Rowley is suffering from selective memory syndrome. I strongly believe he's getting dementia. You understand? Because like he forget what he used to say. So if Kamala bolted the 5,000 plus murder to his chest now, you look for it. We remembered him sitting in City Hall and in Sandy Grande Civic Center and other places saying, vote for the PNM if you want to save your life. I am UNC enemy because I have the solution to all your problem. Vote for the PNM and we will solve the crime situation. Now it's preaching a different story. Keith Rowley feel everybody in this country just like him with short-term memory. No. We have long memory. You hear? And if he feel he could come with that crap and get away with it, that rotten gut lying lunatic, then you better think again. You were the one that said you had the solution. You lied to the people of this country. You hear? That you gonna solve all the crime situation. You had the answer. Now you say, don't blame me and I'm not supposed to protect all you. What it is you wanted to really get in there for? To fill your pockets of friends, family, and finance and to build the Balize mausoleum? That's what you wanted to do? Because so far you have not done anything in the last 10 years to help the people of this country. Be it social, education, health, well, worse yet with the energy, right? With his army whisperer. But don't ask for national security. You did nothing in this country. And now you have no shame to stand up and talk that you're bolting things to camera chest. You already did that. And we will remind you. You hear? And as Woodbrook rightly said this morning, all you better get all your act together and vote that man out. Don't give him a chance. But we want him in the opposition, you know. He have to sit down in that parliament in the opposition benches and face whatever Kamlan them doing to him. You hear? Because he can't get away with that. Not he and his army whisperer getting away with anything. Thanks a lot, guys, and have a good morning.
Thank you, Miss Santa Cruz. Here we got next call, man. Oh boy. Morning caller, where you calling from? What's your contribution on the Gong Report this morning?
Andy, good morning again. Andy, look at that put as Prime Minister now. A man who sit down in the parliament and talking damn talk. Eh? What are we going on in this country, boy, Andy boy? Eh? That's the man who had to preside over everything and everybody in this country, and that is what coming out of him out. By these people are shame. And you know that we're going to vote for him. And my second point is that hospital that was started by the UNC in Arima. It was almost completed under Kamla Pasal Bissessa. When PNM come, they stop it. I think the hospital was either to accommodate 150 to 200 rooms. And PNM reduced it to about 100. So I don't know what people talking about. I was working in Arima that time, right? And another point, Andy, this thing that DL Singh, a woman made a contribution this morning, right? And I agree with her. DL Singh had an issue with some robbery, and people know the kind of man he is. I would not put anything again behind him because of this issue which he admitted to Mount Hope. You think any one of them going to Mount Hope Hospital? Who them does he feel the fooling boy? And the other thing, you're crying wolf. Wolf must come to you. It must come to you. And here another point I want to make. Smoking weed is illegal. Is legal in this country. I want to ask a question, Andy, and I want you and Lennox and Mikey K to give me some ideas on this. Smoking weed is legal, so then the policeman and any government official in any ministry could go and smoke weed while they're on the job. Could they be smoking weed? Man, what is really going on in this country, boy? What really going on in this country? Andy, food for thought. Thank you again very much, Andy.
Continues to find distasteful if certain individuals and entities trying to taint the minister by associating him with the drug charge of a woman a few years ago. What these attacks do, Griffith says, is also to negatively impact a woman who happens to be a relative of his.
She was arrested by myself, and they continue to demonize that young lady, to refer to who has distrusted my
Well, I'm playing some voice notes. Please don't call. Please. We're playing some voice notes. Yeah. Let me play that. That is an audio day with Griffith admitting, well, he addressed she or however he go on his family. And I ain't taking no voice notes, no calls yet. Just now, give me 5 minutes. All right. Let me take some calls. I'll play that just now. Morning.
There you go.
Good
morning, caller.
Good morning, Andy. Good morning, Lennox. Good morning, Mikey. Well, I think that the PNM is seeing some kind of sunlight over the horizon now that the slave catcher has given way to Massa, the master. And I believe that they have been duped into believing that them in charge. That new master that they have, he's in charge. He's in charge, and he brings the might of the 1% to bear upon them. And I want them to remember this. Black Lives Matter once every 5 years. I thank you, gentlemen.
Next caller, morning caller. Morning. All right, come on, Ole, make the calls. Make your calls. Dr. Goben, Mr. Goben, you could call back. Oh, boy. Morning.
Morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Can you hear me?
Go on, morning, Mr. Goben, man. Morning to you.
Good. Morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Andy, I'm thinking, is it possible that Pete Rowley could be setting himself up to be the next president? And God forbid if PNM win election, Stuart Young may want to return the favor. And, they have the majority. So it's something that, no one mentioned, but it could happen. It could happen, and definitely that is a possibility. And Stuart Young, it's his decision now to set an election date. And I don't think he's going to do it right away. He's going to drag it on to the very last, because he'll want to show the people like he's the man for the job. He might give a little goodies. Don't be surprised the pensioners get a little $200 more, and that is all what they need to go right back, or who are undecided, to think, well, yes, Stuart is the man, so he's good, and now we're getting a little more, Mikey would say, a little more kakada. So these are the possibilities that could happen. And lastly, you have some loyal callers, Miss Woodbrook, Miss Santa Cruz, Mr. Barakpo. It's time the ground report issue them the Ground Report Academy Award winners. These people are well patriotic. I love listening to these people. As a matter of fact, today I got up early. I should still be in bed because my time is 8:15. I don't get up till about 10 o'clock. But I just wanted to bring this out, that it's a possibility. No one knows, and he can be calling these shots to Stuart Young, just Obama been calling all these shots for the last 5 years with Joe Biden. So it is a possibility. And I know these guys, no one mentioned it, but I wouldn't put it that way. I wouldn't be surprised if he's setting himself up to be the next president. A big position, big money, and nothing to do. And that might fall Biden on his lap. Okay, gentlemen, I'm locked on and listening.
Thank you for your contribution, Dr. Gobin. Next caller. Morning. Morning, caller. I'm going to play some voice notes after. Let me take the calls. Quite have voice notes to play.
Lines are open, folks. Lines are open. Morning, welcome.
Morning, Andy. Morning, Lennox. Morning, Mikey. How you doing?
Morning, good.
Go ahead, Kenny.
Yeah, man. I try to gather again, but that's my opinion. This is my opinion. If what I hear the Prime Minister is saying, it's come to me that cannot handle crime or handle country. Okay, it's my opinion. Why would he call we and special forces and come in there and clean up the place. Why? If you can handle it, ask for outside help and we'll clean up the place for you. Make it spick and span. I know what I'm talking about, you know. We have special forces, can't do that. And don't play with them. They don't play. And who will talk about the bad man? They will pee themselves. They're no bad man, you know. I work in the jail for 3.5 years. And I don't disclose that. And next thing you talk about them prison officers carrying stuff inside there. When I used to work there as a medical nurse for the doctors and then for the inmates, I used to have take off everything, check everything, police inside there, going to a scanner, check everything. You have a special locker downstairs. They put the stuff in there before you could go on duty in the prison. I have a special key, a lock, a card. I could open any cell because I used to do medical and AKG tank and phlebotomist. And I used to do all of it every morning for the inmate. That's my job. And I used to be one-to-one with the criminals. Right? So, everything that I said, I cannot see how Trinidad letting somebody else inside their cell phone. That's craziness. What is going on? Only need some outside help. This is crazy within a country, boy. This is not normal. And this man going to Parliament alerting the police, your police, and they're telling the criminal outside it's okay to go inside a policeman in a police of a place and go stop your place and go and these guys put up the lights. You alerting the criminals. We don't do that here. We protect our forces. We protect our police at all costs. This is crazy place, boy. This is craziness. And everybody outside of USA and the United States will go watch what I saying. We don't do that. I have two satellite police officers, one US Marshal, and one police down there. They're laughing. What a shame. You want special forces down there? They said, don't tell me that. They told me that. They need help. Why they don't ask for? They'll take care of the business. All right, Andy.
All right, thank you very much. Next caller, morning.
Hello?
Yeah, caller, morning.
Yeah, hello, morning, Andy.
Yeah, Andy, Mikey, Lennox, and studio. Go ahead.
Good morning to Andy, Mikey, Lennox, protocols observed. Brothers, I want to put a rest to this nonsense, this man talking about hospitals. I reside on this southwestern peninsula. I know that hospital was built under the UNC, and it was far in advance, almost completed. What the PNM had done was to move the heliport, which was put there because of the close proximity of the oil and gas industry, that they had a burn unit in that hospital with a heliport, so as to bring there and deal with them there. Those things were removed from the hospital, so as to make it the cost cheaper. And they went around boasting that they building the hospital cheaper and what have you. But that hospital wasn't only foundation. That hospital was way advanced, just like the highway. As I always say, I reside in this area, so I know. I'm not talking things that I hear like that fella quite in Paula saying in a car park. I live here. I even work on the highway. So I know the highway, 3.5 years, more than 3/4 of the highway, I'll put it as 3/4 of the highway was completed. In 10 years,
they can't finish that other quarter. And they're rushing to finish a piece. They leave the place for crackdown. They leave that. They leave that. That they ain't touching that. And they're going quite on point, trying to complete a piece in times for election to say they complete the highway. That highway is far from completion. There are bridges that they cannot tackle. They run OAS who knew what they were doing to bring a set of local contractors who in the end of the day will have to bring foreign contractors to show them how to do this thing. So I want to put to rest that this hospitals and that highway was not in no begin business according to this clown. I want to put that to rest. I don't want people to believe they just met a foundation there. That hospital was advanced, going to completion. If they were given another 5 years in a year time, that hospital would have been ready, completed with a heliport. Where is the heliport that was on that hospital? There were money for that, you know. So, I mean, when I hear, I just be listening. I don't want to be calling, but when I hear these kind of BS being spewed by people who don't know, some kind of third standard graduate coming and talking, but facts. I know the facts because I live here. It could be proven. Ask anybody where that hospital was, how far it was, and the same thing to the highway. So they should stop it. Stop it. Yes, brothers. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much for your contribution. Oh boy.
Well, the truth is like a dagger, Andy. Of course, Dr. Rowley's position on crime, we have it as well, you know. You want me to play it?
Try to send them things now because it will be cleaner than how it coming across.
I understand, but you tell me you having a problem, so let me try this and see now.
The people of this country are quite correctly holding this government accountable to secure the country and to make you feel safe. Right now, the Ministry of National Security is a
right? In 2022, there were 20 homicides in Fairfax County. It's the same number of homicides in 2021. In 2020, there were 15 homicides. And in 2019, there were 14. So Fairfax County has seen an increase. But you see the figures I'm calling out. 22, 20, 15, 14 in that very said Fairfax County. So what is Fairfax County doing? What did Mr. Hines learn when he visited Fairfax County? I don't understand this. All kind of people come in here. Businessmen with shady deals, with clouds hanging over their head. Shady characters want to buy this, they want to buy that. But the one place that you sent a man that could actually come back and deal with the crime situation, nobody came. You didn't send an invitation. You didn't send a pirogue, not even a jet ski to bring somebody back from Fairfax County. I don't understand how this makes sense. I don't get it. You give up, you reach the point where you give up. But we heard nothing about Fairfax County in Virginia. They having murders 40, 15, 19 a year. There was an increase in 2022. But the figures are nowhere close to what we have here in Trinidad and Tobago. So you just like to lie? And Kamala Prasad is correct. A lot of murders could have been avoided. Perhaps if you hadn't lied. If you hadn't lied. Did Hines go to Fairfax County? Did you send him to Fairfax County? Is it that Hines has family members then he was just simply going and visit to see them? Because not even Hines has confirmed that he ever visited Fairfax County, especially the police. He may have went there to see a relative, but did he go to the police headquarters in Fairfax County? Did he meet with anybody? Anybody from the bomb squad, from the K9 squad, from the homicide? Did he meet with anyone? Did he invite anyone? Did any retirees from Fairfax County, Virginia police ever come here upon retiring? Were they offered a job? Were they told that we needed assistance? They're having 19 and 20 murders a year. The Prime Minister said they have a similar population, same size. But look where we at. We have there, Andy. We have.
Nice. The lines are open, Trinidad and Tobago. The numbers to call 225-6644, 225-6644, or 239-5120, 239-5120. Or give us a WhatsApp call at 366-3053. 366-3053 or send that WhatsApp.
Yeah, but Andy, it don't make sense. And you won't hear the Google and all of them who talking on the radio, on the People Station, talking to the massive, telling them the truth. You have a Prime Minister as a liar. If voting has consequences, what do you think lying has? You scratch a liar, you get a thief. You scratch a thief, you get a murderer. Let's be honest here. You lie. You had no problem lying to us, and you lied to us. You made those statements on the campaign trail, and then you repeated it when you opened the St. Joseph police station. You mentioned Fairfax County again, and that you sent Hines. Fairfax County is all 20 and 22 murders. It increased from 19, all right. But you said it's the similar problems. Same size, same issues. And nobody from Fairfax County was in fact. So how serious were you when it came to dealing with crime? So the opposition leader is correct. You wasted time. This SOE is way too late. And according to the lawyers, it's a joke. Your intention was never to secure our lives. So much so that you're ready to ride out now. Because I can't say conscience, because that lump of coal where that heart is supposed to be beaten. Who on the outside, Andy? Who on the outside?
Morning, caller.
Andy, I just want to say that I want to send out my condolences to James Pimadera family. He has died, All he knows that I haven't heard all you talk about it. But you're hardly hearing them things. He was he was a newscaster, he was everything. A good one. He died. So I just want to let all you know that now.
All right. Thank you very much, Miss Lauketa. Thanks so much. Oh, boy.
That Stott Young's stepdaughter and Gary family. Gary and Stott Young's stepdaughter, they're cousins. So that's the reason why Gary didn't do anything. You know, why Gary don't tell that as much as they say leave Stuart Young alone. Why don't he tell Stuart Young to bring Step Daughter back to the stand trial? Because Gary's a criminal just like everybody else. Where that is concerned, and was the commissioner of police, he's a criminal. Okay, he's protecting a criminal. He was an ordinary citizen. He don't have to face in the court. But being Stuart Young's stepdaughter, she don't have to face in the court because Gary Griffith and she is cousins. So Gary Griffith is protecting her. And by protecting her, he is a criminal. So what are you talking about? You know? And that's it.
Andy, good morning. Andy, you realize that Paul has been not calling even any more my messages. What he does, he call early and lies and lies and lies. And then what he do? When he gets corrected and they call him up for his lies and then they come home. And his idiot, stupid, and monkeyish man he is. The dog got a head, the donkey is. He don't call back and leave no message. Because you know he have a purpose there. We all know that. So guys, don't listen to that jack. And let me tell you something, I'm a phone caller. You are a jack. You are a monkey and you are a donkey. I'm going roll the couch and lie down, my friend. Lie down on your belly. Talk to you later, Andy.
Good morning, ground report team and all the whole family. I want to ask one question, Mr. Andy, Lennox, or Mikey. Since they say they legalize marijuana, I want to know if I could go anywhere, if it have any shop that I could purchase a plant or a joint. Thank you very much.
Yes, Andy. So once again, Mr. Porter's been sent for me, so this is a reply back to him, right? So you, Mr. Porter's, it is alleged that we now get to understand. You starting to send thief somebody's Wi-Fi because you're going up to see which app to be able to hack people's Wi-Fi internet so that you could get access to be able to send a little voicemail on this strong, educated, solid platform called the Ground Report. We understand that you're hooked and you cannot do it out this program because you will be a lost person in this world as what you is presently, right? It is alleged, Trinbagonian, that this man studying to send a waste of time voicemail because he's just like a political leader, right? I just have a hole in his face speaking. You starting to speak about somebody else which you knows nothing about, right? You quarreling with somebody for $5 because they're doing your job, which is assisting people to park vehicle, and you starting to go in somebody's washroom to thief Wi-Fi to send waste of time voicemail. You understand? I mean, you need to stop do that and mind your business, right? Do your job and get your facts and then be able to come here so that you will not get put in your place with the facts. You will get slapped back in with the right answer. You're not understanding, but you show the supporters of Ground Report and the world how fully done she is. It is so ashamed and disgraceful to know that your age bracket up to now you don't know right from wrong. It is very, very, very shameful. You understand? Stop quarreling people out there for half a cigarette and a $5 when you know you could be able to get better than that when you're fighting for a non-performing government that they don't even take you on. And it is so sad. Because when you're carrying on like that, you're supposed to be in a better platform than anybody else that you think about. You should have been living like a minister. The way you just carry on and the way you know them history. It is so shameful and disgraceful. Port of Spain. Get your facts and then run up here. And if you don't get your facts, you will get slapped back in, as we say, with the right answer. And you will have to understand. Because we all understand you are fully done, just like the PNM. So you need to move away from the side. And here we are telling you. We're going to come again and you will see reality. We just don't speak. Our government don't speak. We just make things happen. Not like you and your political leader that just speak and no action. Come, move aside. It makes no sense. Trinbagonians, remember, we all have our thinking cap on, our head and our body. And yellow is the code and you have to live with that. Because at the end of the day, UNC going to come back there and show performance to the sweet island called Trinidad and Tobago. Let Mr. Porter Spain and the political leader move aside because they have a political cemetery to deal with that. Yellow is the code and is that. Yes, Andy. So I heard Mr. Porter Spain sent for me once again. So this is where he's going to get slapped back in with the right answers. You understand? He is.
Right, we done play that already. Let's continue.
Good morning, Andy. Good morning, Lennox. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Andy, listen to this now. I hear Kimpo Lowry make some comments in our parliament yesterday. Was that man reckless, you know? He's talking about how police, how something with criminals and police and some kind of nonsense like that. You know, and the thing is actually shocking. Listen now, man, I want to tell this evil, wicked prime minister. Here we're going on, boy. If the police and them was doing the work, you and your government would have done get locked up already. You understand? You come in the parliament there and feeding the public a whole set of nonsense and rubbish and all kind of thing. Listen now, man. All you how you fast and call the elections now. We can't wait to get rid of all you. All you have to answer questions, you know, real questions, you know. But all the evil boy, look, you see me I done vex already. Go beside going.
Good morning to the ground report. And I want to thank you, Lennox, this morning again. Port of Spain, where's your scene, boy? Port of Spain, how you responding so plentiful in talk show radio right now? Port of Spain only have nothing to win in Trinidad already. PNM not coming back in office, Port of Spain. Port of Spain, what is going on with you? You get caught lying on talk show radio again. You get caught lying, Jed. Where's your scene, Jed, brother? Stay off the radio. You're going to make the PNM loss bad. Remember, it's a whole bunch of all they went to Tobago. All they went to all their best effort and lost in Tobago. Right now, this is the worst Trinidad ever been governed. It's the worst it ever been governed. And because of that, the people will get rid of you all. You know how to fight up and play a thing and thing, brother. Don't do me that. I know you're better than that. This is not the PNM you is. You is not this PNM. You not this PNM. You can't be this PNM. Yeah, you mad on. They not Port of Spain is this PNM. This PNM had to go by. Right now the PNM sell out the country, boy, and you will even say that, boy. I want you to call back and tell me if you support Stuart Young as your Prime Minister and to represent blackness wherever blackness is concerned. You call back and say that Port of Spain. I don't believe that is Port of Spain. That person does sound like Port of Spain to me, eh? To the ground report again, Andy Mikey Lennox. And I want people like Port of Spain and them to know this. And all those PNM caller who just call radio. Whenever the government change in Trinidad and Tobago, you see Mikey K, Lennox Smith, Andy Williams, TC, Heavy, Stefan, all who were on media supporting and applying pressure on the PNM. The UNC cannot come in office here in Trinidad and Tobago and start to do an inch of what it is the PNM do and stay in office. We will be on the case because Port of Spain, I never hear you talk out against no mismanagement and squandermania under the PNM. And there is a lot of allegation. There's a lot of allegation. I never hear you. So people of Trinidad and Tobago, don't feel when the UNC come in, we who support them right now because they are the only opposition in the country with 19 seats, don't feel he's going to sit down and allow the UNC to do nothing illegal and breaking the constitution of this country. That will not happen. It only will happen under the PNM because they don't have activists with backbone and spine to tell them where they went wrong. They failed to tell the emperor is naked. That is what's going on with the PNM. That is why they did so badly in office for the past 9 to 10 years. If Port of Spain and them would only come up and start to talk, and especially those on the Iowa George radio station with the morning program, they never disagree with nothing. Nothing. They agree with everything. You telling me you all coming to convince me to continue voting for PNM? Look, Port of Spain, you better take a hike off a talk show radio. See?
You look for that. You ain't look for that because you want to enter where angels fear. Well, you you have realized what is happening. I see God silent now.
Then we organize and take
Whole morning,
I'll play
whole
some
morning
voice.
he was on the forefront. Now he gone silent. Damn fool. Telling you all the time that you're talking nonsense, you don't want to hear. And he had the audacity to call people fool. A total nitwit like that.
Morning caller.
Morning, Andy. Morning, Lennox. Morning, Mighty K and Trinidad and Tobago.
Morning, brother.
Hey, well, boy, I listening to the news last night, and Gary Griffith praising Stuart Young. But when the question come up, I never know Stuart Young's stepdaughter who they did hold with the drugs and wherever they did hold she with, that is family to Gary Griffith. And Gary Griffith telling the nation that she is a person that make a mistake. Now, if that is the kind of people, and he boasting that is his family, she is at this and he is at that, and if this is the kind of example you're setting when you was commissioner of police, which I think that lady that get hold under your stewardship, and for he to be boasting that is his family and nothing come out of that case up to now, but all the little 3 black boy who get killed by Republic Bank under he case, under he watch, they wasn't innocent. So this country showing me clearly that the 1% and the color people in this country really ganging up towards black people is a disgraceful statement. I hear Gary Griffith is a fellow I respect and I was listening to, but last night he turned me off when I hear he boasting who is he family that have case pending for drugs that have people, children and grandchildren being destroyed in this country. Trinidad and Tobago, Stuart Young, Gary Griffith, the 1%, all of them, we had to get rid of them with Rowley and all of them and go back and bring back Kamala Prasad Bissessa and save this country, Trinidad and Tobago. This is Malcolm X, and I'm making no mistake. Too much wrong going on in this country. By plenty case can't settle for the little black boy and them innocent. But this girl who with drugs because it's your young stepdaughter and your family, she innocent. Boy, I just watching this country, and I just watching people who want to lead this country just against the little Afro Trinidadian black people, boy. Only have a good day.
Thank you very much, Malcolm X. Oh boy, let's continue.
I wonder if any reference was made to cockroach.
I still don't understand how we get here, you know. I wonder if the electorate understands something. I mean, you can't just brush off a lie. I mean, there's one thing if somebody on the block lying with you, or you're in a fete and somebody lie, but how somebody as a prime minister who's supposed to be seeking the interests of the citizens could just come out bold-faced, watching your face and lie. Nobody asked you where you send Heinz. You volunteered that information because you believe it would have helped you, that it would have shown that you're serious about dealing with the crime situation, that you sent a man somewhere who could get the solutions. But after that, that was it. So that was a lie. So whether it's 5,000, 4,000, whether how many murders, you have to understand, Rowley, that blood is on your hands because you lied. You lied. We have the Andy.
Andy
Williams.
Oh, you have a
Williams, Rowley blaming Kamala for 2,000 and how much deaths. When Kamala brought a motion in the parliament about the COVID, the House Speaker turned it down and said it is not relevant. It's not something to talk about. If they had taken it in hand early, we would not have so much COVID deaths. But like the people who was giving him money for the COVID away, we was trying to see how much dead people we could get to sum up for the money. But all who lost their income for the COVID never received a cent. So where did that money go? We're not fools in this country, Rowley. You said if the government cannot take hold of crime, then the government is the problem. So Rowley, you could preach Paul Saul And even Genesis, from the first book in the Bible, we know that you and your clan is responsible for the crime that is going on in the country. Who else you want me to say? Who in charge? You. And then your partner where you want to put there, your second, he know plenty about what take place because he was the Minister of National Security. As a matter of fact, the Minister of everything. So he knows exactly what is going on in the country. They don't try to play Mr. Innocent. He's not innocent. You and he use the one from the Security Council, you in charge, and he was the Minister of National Security when all these Venice flocked us here, when all these guns came into the country and went in a warehouse and nobody don't know where they went up to now. When all the set of cocaine and thing that rat does eat when he meet inside of the courthouse. Come on, Rowley. Don't try to put blame on somebody. Put blame on yourself. And to me, if people of Trinidad and Tobago and realizing you going off because them kind of thing where you're coming to talk there is when people tripping off. So let them check you for psychiatric evaluation because you're going off.
This Port of Spain caller is a Mahagadaha. What a fool, tell the PNM. To give you a better script to read from.
Donald Trump fix with this
man.
Man
silent, boy. Where are you?
Good morning, Ground Report crew. I don't know if you all are aware if anybody ever heard this before, but there's a particular apartment in One Woodbrook Place allegedly being rented by 4 people, namely Gary Griffith, Andrew Gabriel, Stuart Young, and Faris Alrawi. Apparently, the 4 of them allegedly split the rent for this one apartment or suite or whatever you want to call it. And basically, it is used as what we would call a stabbing cabin. It is alleged that when they pick up the women, they would carry them there and do what they had to do with them. And then, when they do it, they have different times for each one of them. So each one of them would use the apartment at given times with these women and so on and so forth. Right? So we can see if that is what is the case. Right? And there are other things. We can see that Gigi never really had any kind of inclination of aligning the long term with the UNC. He would use whoever he had to use to get power. And the other thing is that all right, if you watch it really and truly, the UNC has given him has put him where he's supposed to be. They have put him in the limelight. They have put him into the politics, and he has not really capitalized on that, right? He basically biting the hand that fed him, and it will lead to his downfall, right? The other thing is that I'm appealing to the people of Trinidad and Tobago that we need to bring back a government that will actually look after the needs of the people and look after the needs of the poor in particular. Bring back the buying power of our dollar, right? Reasonable food prices we could afford to go in the grocery, right? Would axe the tax, right? Would bring back laptops, gate, etc. to make the education system a little more affordable and accessible to all rather than a select few. And we'll take the money out of the hands of the 1% and put it back into the central bank. This is why we need to vote for the UNC, and I'm appealing to all the persons who are on the fence or who are opposed to the PNM but want to vote for people like NTA and them. Don't waste your vote. Put it where it would count, right? The only party that would carry the country forward right now is the United National Congress. And we need to look at that. We need to understand this, and we need to put them back so that we can at least get somewhere in the next 5 years. All right? Have a wonderful day.
Continues to find distasteful is certain individuals and entities trying to taint the minister by associating him with the drug charge of a woman a few years ago. What these attacks do, Griffith says, is also to negatively impact a woman who happens to be a relative of his.
She was arrested by myself, and they continue to demonize that young lady, to refer to her as the stepdaughter of the future prime minister. To try to go out of their way to destroy one man, you're destroying the life of another girl because she made a mistake. Well, let me clarify. That girl is my cousin. So demonize me. And I have no qualms to state that, yes, she is my family. She's a Daniel, and my mother was a Daniel. And so what?
The NTA hopes to contest all 41 seats in this year's general election. So far, the party has announced 7 candidates. Asked about NTA's intention to join hands with other parties like the COP and Hope, Griffith says for now, they are being very cautious about such a decision.
An alliance of bodies, if we have the same vision, the same principles, the same ideologies, we will work together. We are just very cautious because I was aware that a political leader was meeting with someone else for weeks before that person was recently appointed as a political leader of another party. And you see that marriage of convenience. You want to use the parties, bring them in, say they're working with us to get the floating voters to vote for your candidates in the marginal seats to have a 21-seat UNC government, and then spit us out, and then we'll have no participation, no involvement. That can't happen.
Cindy Raghubatika Singh.
Wow, we heard him.
Andy, I was going to ask you, I was going to quiz you on a situation in New York. You ready?
Yeah, go ahead now.
Well, all right. New York City has over 8 million people. What guess you would take in terms of the amount of murders for 2024?
Less than Trinidad and Tobago?
What? Go to the top of the class. Yes, less than Trinidad and Tobago. 377 murders in an 8 million city. 377 murders. And of course, it was 14 less than last year. Yeah, what I say?
Yeah, Mikey, let me hear you if it is you want to talk.
I wanted to relate it, of course, to the experience that this would have had.
But the way how Lennox came across, I think the answer for any of these things is less than Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, boy.
Anyway, if somebody give you a scenario to say, look, well, let me look for what's happening now. Russia and Ukraine, they're at war. Do you know that the daily death toll is less than Trinidad and Tobago? You have a bunch of people living on an island who hate each other. Right? No. Let me look at any other place. You have a bunch of people living there who hate each other. They hate each other. They just want to kill each other. Do you know how much their death toll is? Less than Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah, that's the answer for everything because that's a fact.
Yeah.
Less than Trinidad and Tobago.
377, almost half less than what Trinidad and Tobago has produced with 1.4 million people.
When you look at the figures,
in New York, wow, that is mind-boggling, man. That is almost
stick there, Mikey.
incomprehensible.
See, we just unstick yourself there and we continue.
Yeah, Mikey just got some technical issue there. Yeah, Andy boy, 377 murders. In at one time, New York was the murder capital of the world. People dying by the seconds. I remember that very distinctly when I was doing my studies and so on. So New York City has always been, of course, a case study until Giuliani came, of course, with what is called the break window crime fighting technique. In fact, he came here under Manning to, of course, share that development with him. But unfortunately, he got paid and went back, so they didn't make use of that experience that he would have had. But he cleaned up New York. It was the murder capital of the world and therefore of the United States. So imagine only 377 murders in 2024 and 13 less than that of the year before, 2023.
Go ahead, caller,
So they are
morning.
going up.
Go ahead, caller,
Price
morning.
they are going up.
Yeah. Eh?
Wait, online sell is Bruce boy.
Who?
It's Bruce.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, on radio.
Well, I'll call him back.
All right.
After 10, we just have about 2 more minutes. Andy?
Yeah, we just have about 2 more minutes or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, of course, the people, Andy was a bit under the
No,
weather
Lennox.
today. I want to
Only Lennox.
that. So the
Mikey.
usual
On
dynamism
Mikey's
that
side,
you would
current
expect.
going on Mikey's side.
Oh, current going on. All right, okay. But yes, the usual dynamism that you would have expected from Andy was a bit sedated today. Let's hope that he recuperates expeditiously for tomorrow morning. Of course, we just have about a minute again or two. No, 4 minutes. Sorry.
Yeah,
4 minutes is now 9:56.
All right.
So we will take a couple calls if you're so inclined.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, I would love to turn to Mr. Porterspin a little bit. Mr. Porterspin.
He sent some voice notes, so I will play it just now. But go ahead,
Hello.
caller.
Where are you?
Morning there.
He sent
Andy,
some.
Lennox.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lennox, it have 8 million in New York legal. It have next 8 million illegal immigrants. So you have to add that to the total. Right?
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
But I call in, let's remember again the number for FCB 2300045. Right? We have to contribute. Let us raise the followers and the program. We can make it at 10,000 this week. If we next week have 50,000, next week 100,000. Remember, it's election year. We need to preach the gospel, the political gospel, the ground report, corridor transformation, and the observer. And yellow is the code, and it's that. And the all the best, yeah.
I thank you very much, caller. All right, let me just play Porterspin voice notes there. Porterspin, anytime it can clean, you know I will not play. Right? Because you answer back, I hope you're answering back as respectable as you always was. You ain't calling nobody no so forth and all them bacchanal stupidness. Right, so let me just play them thing there. Because like you answer back a lot of people.
You know, Dr. Rowley said something in Parliament yesterday in response to Kamala and the rest of all who keep saying that Dr. Rowley is responsible for all the murders. How much? 5,000 murders between 2015 and this present time. While that may be so, would you all agree the same way and say that Kamala Prasad-Bissessar were responsible for all the deaths between 2010 to 2015? Is that a fair statement to make? And I want to tell that idiot who just talked there, let him know I don't like man. Let him know he could go on Saddam and Barry with that. I don't like man. Miss Central, you have small talk. Let me advise you. My phone is postpaid. I paid a monthly bill at the end of the month for my cell phone. It is postpaid. And number two, I do not have to go in any supermarket and shoplift. Get that through your head.
Remember, we all have our things.
Miss Central, you working? Do you pay any income tax? No, if at all you're working. And you know why? Because the same PNM government put things in place that once your salary is below 7,500 per month, you are exempted from paying tax. Are you aware of that? Then again, you ain't earning that kind of money, so you never used to pay tax in any way, right? Thanks to the government of Trinidad and Tobago, led by the PNM. This is the same PNM that cut all the tail in 2015. The very same PNM that beat all again in 2020. And go be the very, very same PNM, just under a different leader, that will cut all your ass again, good and poor. It is so amazing the dotations all your stuff. All you keep chastising and talking about PNM sycophants and PNM don't change the vote. How all you believe that Michelle Benjamin won that Muruga Tableland seat? It was because they sent up Gypsy and the people, the PNM supporters in Muruga Tableland told the administration, we don't want Gypsy, we will not support him. And they did just that. That is how Michelle Benjamin won. Unlike in Kuva North, where with Ratiram, when they told them, the residents, the supporters came out, they protested, we don't want him. And lo and behold, jump high, jump low, they went back and voted for them. Lennox, jump high, jump low. You have a fraud conviction. But Malcolm X, all he was supporting Gary, that very same Gary, all he was supporting the king, they hail, all hail Gary, the big crime fighter, the best thing since sliced bread. Now all they want to kill him? That the same Gary all they wanted to be in bed with to form a coalition to contest against the PNM. Now all they want to kill him because he made that revelation. All they good. When Dr. Rowley said the biggest mistake he ever made was hiring Gary Griffith, selecting Gary Griffith to be the commissioner of police, all they condemn him. All they want to kill Gary now because I Mother Bernie, Kamala said the 5,000 people that was murdered, that is on Rowley hands. Let me ask you something. So the 3,000 or so that was murdered between 2010 to 2015, were they on Kamala's hand? Is Kamala responsible for their deaths, for their murder?
And then your partner will want.
Mother Bernie, who is responsible for the set of murders in Tobago? Mother Bernie, is it Farley? Answer that, since you know that is Dr. Rowley responsible for the murders in Trinidad. Who is responsible for the murders in Tobago? Because Farley is in charge of Tobago. Answer that, please.
Nice, Lennox Smith. That's it there. You're closing comments there, man.
My closing comment is that I noticed that he never responded to the
hospital,
to the in-birth confirmation that they met a lot of loans there that include, of course, that for the Arima Hospital, the Sadi Grandi Hospital, the Point Fortin Hospital. So I suppose that what he has demonstrated is that he has fallen on his own dagger of course the nonsensicality about comparing deaths and who. The reality is that if you say that you have 5,000 versus 2,000 or 3,000, as the case may be, there is a deficit of 2,000. So therefore the policy positions of the UNC clearly, if I want to live, and the likelihood that I will not die, which regime I will use of course the UNC. I would want to live under the UNC is because the possibility exists that I will not die, as opposed to a 5,000 death that, of course, is under the present and, of course, the Rowley, pernicious and evil administration. So the rest of it, I think, is hogwash and irrelevant. Oshios.
Nice. So Trinidad and Tobago, again, thanks so much. Thanks so much. Oh boy. Yeah, thanks so much for giving us the opportunity to your ears, your gadgets in your homes. Thanks so much to Gaia the Caribbean. Until tomorrow morning, please God, on behalf of the Ground Report team, yours truly, the Pitbull of Radio, Lennox Smith, Mikey K, the Ground Report team, we are out of here. Oh boy.
And don't forget, of course, tomorrow, tonight. Don't forget tonight.
And tonight, corridor transformation tonight, and also the observers tonight on Guile, the Caribbean. Right, so you'll get that tonight. Both Lennox Smith and Mikey. Lennox at Mikey at 7 to 8, and Lennox Smith at 8 to 10 also. All right.